That thing banging. That thing banging. You can't walk a mile in these Louboutins. Can't take her home tomorrow. No one, she don't belong. All she needs is a dog. Getting this bone. Let me find out that thing banging. That thing banging. That thing banging. That thing banging. Let me find out that thing banging. That thing banging. That thing banging. That thing banging. Let me find out that thing banging. That thing banging. That thing banging. That thing banging. Let me find out that thing banging. Walking up the stairs, feel like I made it. Promiscuous woman, she in the dirtiest streets. You know what I'm saying? She doing the thing. That thing banging. That thing banging. That thing banging. That thing banging. You can't walk a mile in these Louboutins. Can't take her home tomorrow. No, she don't belong. All she needs is a dog. Getting this bone. Let me find out that thing banging. That thing banging. That thing banging. That thing banging. Let me find out that thing banging. That thing banging. That thing banging. That thing banging. Let me find out that thing banging. That thing banging. That thing banging. That thing banging. Let me find out that thing banging. Bang, 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 bang. Dirty slut bitch, anything goes. Promiscuous hoe, she out here in the dirty streets. I'm in the dirty streets. You know what I'm saying? She doing a thing. That thing banging. That thing banging. That dirty slut bitch, anything goes. Promiscuous hoe, she out here in the dirty streets. I mean the dirty streets. You know what I'm saying? She doing that thing. That thing banging. That thing banging. That thing banging. You can't walk a mile in these Louboutins. You can't take her home to mom. No one, she don't belong. All she need is a dog. Getting this bone. Let me find out that thing. That thing banging. That thing banging. That thing banging. Let me find out that thing banging. That thing banging. That thing banging. That thing banging. Let me find out that thing banging. Let me find out that thing.
What is up, guys? What is up? Welcome to the live stream. Welcome to the live stream. All right, we're starting early today. I just want to get through because it's long, might be a long stream. All right, I might want, if I finish this video, I want to check out other stuff. So let's get started. Might as well. Let's get started. All right. I want to say that before we get started, right? Whenever someone's critical of my takes on the Black community, well, I've always said this before. I respect the ancestors, right, of the Black community because they have created, or thanks to their hard work, given the freedoms to so many minorities. So mad respect, and I always think the Black community is the coolest community around. I just think that there are flaws, there are problems that they're not addressing. Rather, they focus on, let's say, stupid things instead of addressing. So we'll talk about that tonight. Let's check this out. I haven't seen this yet, so I don't know if this is going to be good or not. Hopefully it might be some interesting conversations. If not, I'll probably move on to some other stuff. We'll see.
Court.
Well, nobody's
for the first time
voting
since
rights
the,
were stripped
the
away.
60s.
Nobody's voting rights were stripped away.
They were.
Nobody's voting rights.
Things
Everybody
were
that could.
Evil Eddie, what's up, my brother? What is up? I love, you know what? This song, I'm loving, right? You did a great job on this song.
I'm in the dirtiest streets. You know what I'm saying? She doing the thing. That thing banging. That thing banging. That thing banging.
Big bars. What is up, my brother? What is up? Thank you for seeing you. I'm just saying that's a badass song. Right, that was a badass song.
vote last year can now vote.
Things
Everybody
were
that can vote last
changed.
year can vote this year.
Things were changed, but let me set this up.
What
and then
was
we'll
changed?
get into it.
Your wording was very, very sneaky there.
We're also going to be talking about the hantavirus. We'll be talking about, is this the next COVID? A lot of people are scared. A lot of people have been talking about this. Trump also said something about this. I think I have a clip for that. I'll try to play that. And then lastly, we'll be talking about white privilege. Does it exist still in America?
Before we get, I'll probably answer this. The whole controversy with the Right Voters Act thing. Okay. Yes, I read a little bit about it. Again, I'm not that knowledgeable about it, so fringe my ignorance. It's there are some studies that says it doesn't make as much of an impact. Some studies that says it does, right? It affects people. But technically it's, examples of what it does, right? It's stricter voting ID requirements, polling places closures, reduce early voting, limits on mail voting, and frequent voter poll purges. I mean, it isn't necessarily, it doesn't mean that it stops you from voting, right? Maybe it doesn't make it as easy as possible to vote. Okay, understandable. But again, it doesn't stop you from voting, right? It's not particularly stopping Black people from voting. Okay. And the whole white privilege thing, if you see my debates, I've talked about this. Today, 2026, there's no such thing as white privilege. At least in the West. There's no such thing as white privilege. In the West, there isn't. Okay? A white person isn't as, just an average white person isn't more privileged than an average Black person.
Very interested in that discussion. Hopefully we have enough time to get into everything. But let's start off with the ruling in Tennessee. I have this clip that I'm going to play from Don Lemon. Okay. It's just, for me, it's easy to just play this and then we can sort of go into it. But
was Rachel Maddow? You couldn't find a Rachel Maddow clip? You went with Don Lemon?
I know.
Jesus.
A shameful display of racism and voter suppression, with the legislature there voting to really restrict the voting accessibility to African Americans in that state. A state that has a
Whiskey, what is up? Yes, this is live. I'm live, right? It's Saturday. I usually do lives on a Saturday. How you been, Whiskey?
pretty big African American population. There is no longer an African American majority district in the state. They voted to redraw all of those lines, and there's no longer a Democratic majority in the state as well. The interesting thing is, you may say, well, that's how it works. That's how everyone does it. Lawmakers were smiling, walking down the stairs today after the vote, smiling and laughing at protesters who were outraged. And also ignorant. One of them, at least one of them,
outraged
chanting Trump, Trump, Trump.
Yeah.
We have gone.
All right. So a lot of people have been.
And I want to say this, right? Let's be serious in the sense that I've seen in, like, let's say other years, I've seen Democrats do the same thing. Redistrict their states. Okay. I'm not saying it's a good thing, bad thing, whatever. I mean, again, I'm very ignorant to it. Right? I'm very ignorant to it. So we are not African Americans. We are not African. Just Reason, what is up? They are immigrants. Okay. Interesting. Whiskey out. I hope you feel better. I hope you're feeling better. Yeah. This is the thing. It's politics. We are Americans, Black Americans. Okay. I like that. I agree. 100%. I see that. I like that. I've seen some videos for the distinction. Correct. Again, I mean, I just go from what the terms I hear, but I agree. I can see that. I can see that. Terminology, right? Black Americans. I see that.
Having a lot of different opinions about this.
How much
a lot of people are a little outraged. But you know, I think that it's interesting, especially for a lot of.
Oh, this creator. Just want to give a little bit of shout out. He's called Black Summit Podcast. So.
These southern cities right now, they're going to be redrawing these districts and basically getting rid of what it seems like, you know, the majority of like the, you know, minority, you know, voices when it comes to politics.
So did you just say that seems like that? You didn't just say that as a fact, did you? I mean, you're saying that it seems like it.
They're redrawing.
Everything you just said is horseshit.
They're redrawing these districts. That's what's happening.
They are.
And so people who had a voice.
Ethan, what is up? What is up, my brother? Good to see you today.
But I mean,
minorities
at what
who
point
had
do
a
you want to
voice.
pause and get specific about any of this stuff? Because when you say you're redrawing the districts, let's talk about what that is, what that means.
Okay. This is a fact.
Yeah.
This thing that they had in place that's no longer in place was in there since the 60s and the voting rights bill. Okay. So that is true. All right. And the Supreme Court overthrew that.
Well, okay.
So,
do you know specifically what we're talking about that was overthrew? Or do you?
Educate us. Go ahead. What do you?
Well,
I don't.
Why do I have to be the encyclopedia?
No, go ahead.
You're talking about. You're stating these things.
You're bringing this up. Go ahead.
No, you just brought it up.
No,
what do you mean? I'm bringing this up.
Well,
I'm asking for the factual underlying objective reality.
And this is my problem, right? With a lot of these things, where I'm not saying all, but a lot of Black people will have a negative opinion on something, right? They have a negative opinion on something, yet they don't have an actual. They don't have a lot of information on that topic. They have a negative opinion on. This is why I find this is why I find it dishonest. I find it disingenuous. Right? You don't know much what you're talking about, yet you have a negative opinion on it. I kind of find it ridiculous.
We're trying to get very
giving
specific.
birth to your perspective.
Go ahead.
That's
You're
what
trying
I'm
to get very specific with it. So tell us what's up.
Yeah. So I have to educate you. Okay. So I'm going to give you my understanding. How about that? Because I am not an expert. I know a little bit about a lot. Right. And everything I say that you think is like, wow, that's interesting. You have to look this up. I'm not going to be responsible for you being ignorant. Okay. Because if you throw anything I say in somebody else's face, don't come back at me hollering, because I'm going to say right now, educate me. Yeah. Make me stupid. I feel stupid. That's good. I want you to make me feel stupid. The Voting Rights Act is, first of all, there is no such thing as a Black congressional district. There is no such thing as a Black political party in America.
By the way, I didn't say that. I said minority.
I know you didn't.
Go ahead.
But okay, do you want me to specifically address Don Lemon's quote?
No. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, because this whole thing is based on horseshit. It's based on a subjective perception of objective reality that is not tied to the facts, which is what you are talking about is partisan political actions. You have two political parties in this country, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. The Republican Party is doing something to maximize their political power, which by its nature is going to take away political party powers from the Democrats. That's how it works. Democrats do the same thing to Republicans. That's what this...
Exactly. Right? They think about it on a racial term, right? Which it's not like I don't understand it, but you got to think about it on a political term, because I've said this before. I've seen Democrats do the whole redistricting plenty of times before, any other years before.
Migrant invasions about, by the way, is Democrats trying to prop up their declining political power. That's all of this shit is. They have fooled so many Americans to associate their identity group Marxism with their political party and also their character and their community. It's all become ingrained together so that we are fighting for this abstract concept of fairness. We're not even talking about justice anymore, because justice requires blanket equality across all racial lines, across all identity groups. We're not even talking about that anymore. We're talking about social justice. And if you look at the root meaning of the word social, it means associated with groups. Group justice is a Marxist concept. That's not something that exists in nature. Okay. It's tribalism, and the multiculturalism of America is a part of this conversation as well. But we need to start with the abstract facts, right? Which is that the Voting Rights Act was not repealed. It was interpreted in a way that says you cannot draw a congressional district based on race, based on increasing the political power of a race. is not a justification for drawing a congressional district. That's what they said.
And that was taken away, right? That was taken
what
away.
What was taken away?
So all right, it's gerrymandering.
Yes.
Pretty much that's what it is.
Yes.
Gerrymandering.
Good.
Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act protected majority, minority. When we say minority, who are we talking about? You or me? You're talking about me.
Well,
We're not talking about you.
You're not a minority in
If we're
America.
talking about legal terms, you need to get much more specific than that. Majority and minority what?
District
Majority
for
and
60
minority
years.
what?
So it made it
Voters
illegal
or
to
races?
dilute black voting power. It made it illegal to dilute black voting, and that's exactly what they did.
No,
That's gerrymandering.
it made it illegal to implement mechanisms that were designed to dilute black voting power.
Yes.
You cannot use the government to increase or lower the political power of a race. That's what the Voting Rights Act did. It said, hey, white people, you cannot design your elections, your mechanisms of conducting your elections in a way that is designed to increase the political power of a race and decrease the political power of another race. That's what the Voting Rights Act did.
With gerrymandering, that's exactly what they did. That's
Gerrymandering
exactly
is
what they did.
associated with political parties and not race. Political
all
parties.
you're doing is rewording it.
No,
All you're doing
yes,
is
no,
rewording
you're trying to
it.
shift.
That's
You
all
are
you're doing is
associating.
rewording
You
it.
are associating
Just
race with
rewording it.
political parties. I am not doing that.
Yeah,
You are.
It don't matter how you say it.
I have a
That's-
question. Why was that put into place in the first place? Why was the Voting Acts put into place in the first place?
Because of generational atrocities and racism
Against
and
who?
black Americans.
Okay, thank
Chattel
you.
slavery.
Okay.
Jim Crow. I mean,
Thank
do
you.
you want to talk about it?
No,
Because I'm not going to lecture
I'm asking you.
Yeah.
I'm asking you
Well,
because
No, he just, he
I'm not
stated
going to
it.
lecture y'all on
No,
black American history.
Yeah, yeah.
He answered it. He answered it.
Yeah, you answered the question.
He answered it.
And so now when they take a segment from that and they are starting to take it away, with the
Nothing's been
context.
taken away.
Wait a minute. With the
Nothing has been taken
with the
away.
context of what you just told me. What did
Yeah.
you say? Why was it?
I always think that's crazy. I mean, what is he wrong? Just reason. But Latinos are white, Hispanics are white. I think that's crazy. I really think that's insane. In my opinion, right? I always think that this is something that people are doing right now, right? They're saying Asian people, right? Asian people are white, or they're on equal terms with white people. It's absolutely ridiculous. So this is why this whole social construct, right? Social construct with race is so stupid. Then, okay, if you can say that white people, he doesn't know what. I don't get it. He's an immigrant. I really don't know. Maybe are you talking about? I don't know. You talking about someone else? But yeah. This is why I think it's ridiculous, right? How people, they want to interpret race however they want to talk about.
Put in place again?
Because of historical racism and how would you want to simplify that?
No, go ahead.
Atrocities, historical
Keep
racial
going.
atrocities.
Keep
Historical
going.
racial atrocities.
So now, if somebody starts to take segments away,
Nothing has been taken away.
It
What
is
has been
political
taken away?
power. You
Has
said it
been
yourself.
taken
away. From who?
Political
From the minority.
power.
It has been taken away.
There is nothing in
Your
the law
words.
that has done
Hold
that.
on, hold
Here's
on.
what is happening. You are arguing that the
Hold on.
results
I'm taking your
correlate
words.
with the intention.
All right, hold
you
up.
are arguing that the results dictate
Let's go-
your subjective perspective
Let's go back
of
to
those
your
results.
words. These were your
It's
words. These were your words. You were talking
Something
about how
happened.
it was
Did you mute me? I'm
political.
sorry.
No, that's me. Political power.
It's okay if you mute me. Dude.
You're saying that no way. No, I actually muted myself. I brought myself down a little bit. Political power, okay, is no longer, you can't segment it, right? That's what you were basically saying.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Why can't you?
No, you were just saying that. So
What was
now
it?
they're starting to
You can't segment it by race. He said that, right? Democrats and Republicans do this, they do it constantly. They segment it by party, right? What party is more Democrat? What party is more Republican? Same thing with Democrats, right? Democrats do it, they separate it. Well, they may do it by race because they know usually minorities are Democrats, right? That's how they do it. But again, you can't separate it by race. They separating by political party.
take away political power away from the minorities.
No, nobody's doing that.
And now they're going to redraw
Nobody's doing that.
these districts through gerrymandering so that the majority, the people who already have the majority, are now going to be able to have a bigger majority. They're going to be able to have a bigger segment of power.
Do you understand why
And
these
so you
terms
have to understand these
define,
things.
when you say majority
So-
and minority, what are you talking about? Are you talking about race or are you talking about voters?
We're talking about minorities. You know what minorities mean.
I know it's a term that
What's a
means-
minority?
Right now, in this room,
What's a
I am a minority. True or false? True or false? True or false?
This is
Factual
how-
statement.
by the way,
Factual
that's
statement.
wordplay.
Right now,
This
in
is
this
how
room,
people
I am
twist
a minority.
things.
Yeah,
See how they're
No,
twisting
is
wordplay.
this not a
That's
factual
wordplay.
statement?
That's
No,
wordplay.
But he is doing it correctly, right? So you have to say, what do you mean by, this is the thing where you have to like be upfront of what you're trying to go for, okay? Plain and simple.
let's talk about the meaning
Man, hey,
of words.
you would make
and the
a
objective
great-
reality that unites us.
You would make a great lawyer. You would make a
Man, I ain't doing
phenomenal
all that
lawyer.
school, man. I looked
You would
into
make
it. I
a
won't lie.
phenomenal
I looked
lawyer.
into it
I'm
and I'm
telling
like,
you.
I am not doing all that school, man.
Yeah.
You would make a great lawyer.
Well, thank
I'm
you.
telling you.
But
you
no,
would make a great lawyer.
right? The term minority
Okay.
and majority.
But
I
that's
understand what it means. I'm saying, are we talking about racial groups or are we talking about voters? These things matter because we are not talking about a racial issue. We are talking about a political issue that has been sold to people as racial. It is not racial.
But
Red Door, what is up, my brother? What is up?
let me ask you what's
it is being
so.
used to mobilize the
So
emotional
let me
factions
let
of
me ask
democracy to
you.
prop up
racial
corrupt politicians.
I have another question. So what is going to happen now that this has been changed? What's going to happen?
Yes,
Is the minorities?
I just
No.
snorted
What's
in
the
here,
first?
man.
I just want you to talk. Go ahead.
What's
What
going
you
to
about to say?
9 Republicans, 0 Democrats, right?
Boom.
Black Memphis loses federal representation. Tennessee Republicans gain a seat. Trump's White House gets one step closer to keeping the House majority in November's midterms.
Okay, do you want to go back to the beginning? Tell me the first few issues you were talking about. There's 9 things jammed all together. Is that a
Yeah, I know
headline?
we were talking about a lot of different things, but
But that's that's what so the Tennessee congressional delegate goes from 8. That's what I should
Yeah.
say.
Then
From
these are
8
facts,
Yeah,
right?
those are facts.
Yeah,
These are
give me
facts.
the
It's
facts.
From went from 8 Republicans to 1 Democrat. Now there's 9 Republicans, 0
Okay.
Democrats.
Yep.
Right? So he was saying,
Which part of
earlier-
what you just said is racial? Which part of what you just said
Well,
is racial?
Because
that's what I need to
let
understand.
me define
Let's
it,
talk
right? Because
about it.
Memphis is
Exactly.
predominantly black.
I understand.
And
No,
it's
no.
deliberately targeted.
But I'm specific. I'm sorry.
Go ahead,
I
go
asked,
ahead, go ahead.
and I'm not trying to be an asshole.
No, this
I
is great.
specifically said
You asked the question.
you are being very, very specific with facts. We went from 7 Republican, how many? 8 Republican districts and 1 Democrat
Democrat,
to
9
now it's going to be 9 and 0.
9 and 0.
Which part of that is racial?
Because black Memphis loses federal representation. It loses straight federal representation. And Memphis is predominantly a black city. And it's
Exactly.
one of the only democratic cities
We have
in
to be-
Can you
Tennessee.
understand? Can
we
you
have to
understand-
be honest about what's going
Yeah.
on. here.
Okay, now I'm trying to help you see it from this perspective.
I-
Are you-
No, this is the problem with, let me say this, right? This is the problem with the black community. Stop aligning yourself with one group. Stop it. This is the problem with the black community. You align yourself with one group. That is the problem. Okay. It is insane how I think black people are intelligent, right? It is insane why they do such a stupid thing. If you align yourself with one group, you are tied to that group. Their failures, and if they're successful, right? Usually their failures as definitely their failures, and that is the problem. You are tied to the Democratic Party. Why can't you get benefits from the Republican Party? Why? Because you don't. It's like, here's the thing where, how come you're not electing black Republicans? Right? There are black Republicans that would focus on the black community, yet you don't elect black Republicans because you're tied to the Democratic Party. That is the problem with the black community. You are fixated, you are tied, you are shackled to the Democratic Party. You should not be tied to neither party, right? The black community should not be tied to neither party. Both parties should be focusing on your benefit. And that is the problem that black people can't seem to grasp, right? Don't think that, oh, Democrats automatically have your vote, right? Democrats automatically vote. If there's no Democrat in the party or in the state, that means you're failed, right? Nothing goes for you. Why? Why can't you have actual Republican representatives?
I understand that people can twist it and they can say, well, you know, Memphis.
What you call twisting is called subjective perspective.
Memphis is just
I am
Memphis.
sharing a perspective.
There's
with
not a
you.
majority black
Doesn't
people
mean
in
it's right.
Memphis.
It's like
I'm trying to help you
alternative facts.
It's
understand.
like Memphis is just Memphis. There's
Exactly.
not a majority black people there, and there's
I have no idea if there is. I don't know
It
anything
is-
about
it
it.
is
I'm trying to
majority
help you
black.
understand the
Memphis
objective
is a
reality
majority
of the
black
facts that
city.
you are describing.
yeah.
The facts that you just told me. I'm trying to help y'all understand that. I have no idea anything about Memphis.
To me, it's
What-
specifically is targeted.
It is.
And
not-
what's going to
It
happen
is
in
not
our
target-
state, the
just
state.
because you
Wait a minute, let me
associate
finish.
your
Let me finish.
race
Let me
with a
finish.
political party
This
does
state-
not mean that partisan political actions are racial. Just because you do
I'm
that,
just going
or
off
you
of-
do that, or anyone else does that, or any group of people does that, does not mean that partisan political actions are racial.
Okay, let me
Because
finish.
you choose to see that, or you choose
He should let them. He should like. It's okay that I know. I understand he's trying to get his point across, but he probably should just stop talking certain things.
to see that does not mean it reality. Just because you perceive the results as being indicative of intent or
Or you know what? Or it's like they shouldn't be. They should just let him completely finish his point and then move on. Right? It's either or. Right? You gotta let someone finish their point. Interrupting each other's point just makes it hard.
that does not make it so. Because that's the objective reality that is not just, I don't really know y'all well enough to know if you're telling me this or not.
Yeah.
But the pushback that comes from this, it's the weaponization of empathy based on a biased history of
But
America
it's just
in
straight
order
up
to
facts.
shut
Yeah,
down
these are
political
facts.
disagreement based on white guilt.
I understand. Listen, I can twist things around any type
I'm
of way
not
I want
twisting
to.
anything. I'm not denying
The
anything
facts
that you've
are
said
facts.
with the facts.
Hold on.
I'm not
Let
denying any
me
of that.
talk real quick. Let me talk.
Yes.
What's going to happen is these communities are no longer going to have a representative representing them.
Why not?
And what's going to happen is there will be no more black people who in Congress because of these actions. Okay. And
Is it
the
possible
reason
that they
why,
lost
wait a minute, let me
representation
finish because I let you finish. I let
their
you talk a lot.
politics broke
I'll
their
let you talk a
governance?
lot. Hold on. Let me finish. Now we are going to have a moment where all those people are going to be gone, and these rights that were put into place in the 1965 bill
That's not a reality that happens.
are going to go away.
That's not a reality
And
that happens.
why are they doing this? Why
It's
are
not a
they
reality that
putting
happens.
this
You're
together?
being alarmist.
No, this is
Yeah.
the truth.
No.
To
All right,
stay in
no,
power.
you're-
They're
minute,
doing this
hold
to
on,
stay in
wait a minute,
power.
hold on,
You
it's a
gave
fact.
a version
It's a
of
fact
the
that the
future and said
Democratic-
it's the truth.
The Democratic guy just got taken out, right?
Yeah,
His
yeah.
district just got
Who?
redrawn.
Yeah,
yeah.
So he is no
you're talking
longer
about,
there.
and
And
That
tell me why
is
that
a
is not
fact.
indicative
Now,
of a
it's,
broke
let me-
Democratic political
Give me
party.
1 second. Let me talk about this. In South Carolina,
Representative Steve
here,
Cohen.
yes,
He just lost his
in
district-
South
district
Carolina
line.
here, it's going to be redrawn as well.
Yeah, they're talking
And
about
we are going to lose Clyburn.
Mhm.
Okay, here locally
Was
in
his
South
race-
Carolina,
was his
he is
district
a black
drawn because
man.
of race?
It's going to
They are
be
talking about
redrawn.
Was it drawn because of race?
It was put in because of we needed a person to represent us.
Okay,
That's
so wait,
why
wait, wait,
these
wait.
things were put
was
into
his
place.
district drawn specifically
So-
for the
so-
purpose
so-
You
of
yourself-
increasing the political power of a race?
You yourself
I don't know
just
the, I don't know
told
the
me-
answer to this question. I'm
Well,
asking
Why,
the question.
why was the civil rights put into place? Why was the voting rights put into place? Because of what?
What does that have to do with the
And
question?
No,
then-
no,
that you
we're
said?
the
and then why,
educated
why,
white
if
people.
that's the
One thing
case,
have to
why
be
is it
conflated
only
with the other.
why is it only targeting these black cities with these with black
Exactly.
districts? Why is it only targeting that? When you say it has nothing to do with race,
Just because the
Why is it
Democratic
only
Party has
targeting that?
associated their
Can
political
you
power
answer
with
the
race
question,
does
please?
not make
answer the question.
politically biased political action racial. That's not
Answer
what
the-
that means. Just because the
Why
Democratic
is it
Party has
only
sold people on the
targeting
idea
black
that
cities?
you can't
Why
oppose Democrats
is it
without being
Why is it
racist.
only
black
targeting
cities?
black
Why is it only
cities?
targeting
Because
black
black
cities?
people support Democrats, right?
Okay.
So
right?
that's why they only target
Right?
black cities.
Right?
That's
Is that
why.
racist to say that? Or is
What?
that prejudicial or discriminatory?
No, I
or
know some black
biased?
Republicans. I know some.
I
Black
know some black
Republicans.
Republicans too.
But
Yeah,
in
yeah.
majority, a lot of blacks are
But
Democrats.
is that's a generalized statement, right?
Mhm.
To say black people support Democrats.
Yeah, I do that too. I mean, I hate that too.
Yeah.
Can we say that?
Why do black people support Democrats?
That's American history. You want to have a long conversation?
No, no,
We
no,
can.
no, 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 no.
We can.
Just we don't have to go too far back in
It goes
history.
back to the New Deal.
Why?
It goes back to Jacksonian democracy.
Okay.
It goes back to the Southern strategy with Richard Nixon.
Yeah.
It goes all the
already
way
know.
through the Civil
I already
Rights
know.
era. It goes
And
through the Reagan
You
era.
can tell me that the Republicans, they weren't for the
No,
KKK
no, they're-
and all of these other things, and how the Republicans. We can go on and on and on about that. I'm just asking, in the most recent history.
Because the Democratic Party, okay, the Democratic Party does something that the Republican Party doesn't. They perpetuate racism. They perpetuate black people's victimhood. Right? They perpetuate the oppressors versus the oppressive versus the oppressed. That's why. The black community, right? The black people predominantly they follow the Democratic Party because the Democratic Party will be the only party that constantly talks about race, that constantly focuses on race, that constantly focuses on you as a black person is a victim of the white man. That is the thing, right? That is why the black community constantly, right, votes Democrat, because they believe that they are the victim. They believe that they are the oppressed. They believe that the white man is the oppressor. And what party caters to that? The Democratic Party. That's what my answer would have been if he asked me.
Why do
you keep bringing up old history if you'd only want to talk about the recent
Well,
history?
we have to talk about, we're talking about context of what's happening. Rights were stripped away, no matter how much you want to twist it. That happened in 1965.
I understand.
For the first time since 1965, those rights are taken away.
No, they're not. Nothing has been taken away. You keep saying that. Nothing has been taken away. What has been taken away? If you want to talk about the specific congressional district that was taken away,
districts. Yes, that's
that
what
was
I'm talking
something.
about.
Is that what you're talking about?
That's what was taken away. You know what I'm talking about. Okay.
But that's not a right. That's not a right you have, right? That's not a right you have for, what kind of... this is the thing where it's not a right Americans have. It's not a right that black Americans have for whatever, how, your community is districted, right? How district your community is. That's not a right.
Come on now.
Well, no, because you're talking about the political power of a race being taken away. That's what you're talking about.
Every 10 years in the census, are they redrawing these districts earlier than 10 years?
That's a long conversation too. Do you want to talk about it?
No, I'm just asking a quick question. Because I know after every 10 years, you're supposed to they redraw. But I don't think it has been 10 years.
This is important information too. But no, in the Constitution, we are mandated to count everybody every 10 years. We have to do the census.
And that's when you redraw the maps.
That's where the 3/5 compromise.
It hasn't been 10 years yet.
But there's nothing that says the states have to wait until the census.
Then it's just gerrymandering. It's pretty much just gerrymandering.
Well, yes.
That's what it is.
Once you understand what that term means, every state does gerrymander.
It's gerrymandering.
All I know
all
is
the
that
states are gerrymandered. That's what you need to. It's just who is gerrymandering.
All I know is that this is going to continue to happen, and people are going to continue to twist.
You still haven't established that anything has happened. Nothing has happened.
When you
the only thing that's happened is that Democrats have lost political legitimacy because their political positions have run cities into the gutter, and Americans have fled.
Did Tennessee
and
not
now they have to import these sanctuary cities, and it's not enough to support their legitimacy anymore. They don't have fundraising.
Let's stay with this question. Did Tennessee not just redraw the district that was majority minority over there in Memphis?
Majority or minority?
Did they not?
Majority and minority.
No,
what?
That's the answer to the question.
No.
Did it not redraw
Racial or political?
You said,
racial or political?
You said nothing happened.
Majority Democrats?
I'm telling you, I'm
You're a dodger.
Majority.
No, this is the problem, right? This is the problem. What people want to get you to understand why they see it's not racism. They see it as political maneuvering, right? Like gerrymandering, right? It's political, right? It's political in nature, but racial in results, right? In a sense. It is the Republicans trying to gain more power. It is what it is, right? Because let's be honest, Democrats do the same. Democrats do the same. They do the same to gain more power, right? To be honest, how they district, how they drew the lines for districting before was exactly that, to gain power, right? So you can see it through a racial lens, but the problem is that let's say hypothetically, right? The whole Republican Party, right? The whole black community in Tennessee was Republicans. You think it would matter? You think, let's hypothetically, do you think that the Republicans or whoever in Tennessee would redistrict, right? Let's say all the districts that were predominantly black, they were Republicans. Do you believe that they would do that? That I would have asked them that, right? So, because if they would do that anyway, then yes, it's racist in nature. But if they wouldn't do it at all, right? If you guys were all Republicans, is it actually racist, or is it actually about race, or is it about that's annoying, or is it about party, right? Is it about political party? That's something that we got to understand. Okay, so yeah, I mean, Whiskey, I've been I've been YouTube has kicked me off of YouTube has kicked me off because they didn't like some of the videos I uploaded. So if you want to donate, which you don't have to, right? If you don't want to, right? You could send, right? But I mean, yeah, YouTube didn't like some of the videos I uploaded, so they kicked me off of partnership for 3 months. I got to wait until July to reapply. So yeah, it is what it is. YouTube does this to me quite a few times.
He's a dodger.
Asking the meaning of the question.
He's a
By the way, I
dodger.
love
You
this.
can't explain.
This is great.
You can't explain your question.
This dude is a dodger. Oh my god. Boy, if
What is dodging? I'm asking the meaning of what?
Listen,
Majority of-
was the district not redrawn in Memphis?
Go.
Yeah, go ahead.
Dude, if this dude was a criminal on him.
Was the district
Oh,
not
well,
redrawn?
Redrawn in Virginia.
Boom.
I don't know what they're doing.
And it's
in
going to be
Louisiana.
redrawn. It's going to be
Louisiana's
redrawn in
next.
South Carolina. So
if your
something
congressional
did
district
happen.
has been drawn on the
Something
basis
did
of
happen.
race, you might lose your political voting power.
So
Because Americans do not draw their government power based on
So
race.
now
Welcome
something's
to
just
America.
happened.
That's
That's not
what
true.
equal justice under the law means.
Okay, so
you do
something
not get
did
to
happen.
associate your race with your politics
That's not true.
and then get pissed off
Because-
when your political opponents take your political power away from you for reasons that have nothing
If-
to do with race. That's based on your
If-
perception. If you want to
if-
see your
if
politics
it
as being
was
associated with your
if it was
race,
not
Okay,
based
let's
on race,
hear Hendrix,
if it was not based on race, we would never need the Voting Act passed.
I'm not saying that it. Listen,
if it was
I'm not
never
coming
based
down
on
on
race,
any of your
we wouldn't need the
opinions.
Voting Rights Act.
I'm not coming down on it.
So
You are
then,
an American.
once they
Who's saying it was never based on race? It's not based on race today. Okay, it's not based on race today. I said this before. Black people are living; they're shackled to the past. That's the worst thing about the black community. I said this before. Racism isn't the problem, right? Racism isn't the problem. It's mindset. It's mindset. Okay, you should not be shackled to your past. You should not be shackled to one political party.
you can
redraw
believe
the
whatever
district,
you want.
you will have a representation who does not look like you, who does not, like you said earlier, in your atmosphere, who does not walk the same walk. They don't know what you need because they come from another place of privilege. They may live in Memphis, but they may live on the hill. So you don't have nobody who is like you, who represents you and know exactly what you need.
And you can twist it and turn it and try to
You keep
change it
saying
any
that
way
shit,
that you
man,
want
and
to.
you're gonna piss me off. I ain't
This is
twisting
what
nothing.
happened.
You ain't pissing me off.
This is good.
I'm bringing some heat to your podcast. man.
Yeah,
You ain't
no, I
pissing me off.
love this. This is great. This is what we needed.
yeah,
This
But
is great.
I ain't twisting nothing.
Don't leave him
I ain't
hanging.
twisting shit. You ain't get me on that. I'm giving you the objective reality of my perception. And I accept
Right.
my perception is
Hey,
biased.
yeah,
So is
yeah,
yours. So is yours.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, that's what bias is. But
Listen.
I'm telling you right now,
That's your take.
I
That's your
support
take, yeah.
all of the shit that y'all are opposing here. And I'm gonna tell you right now, it ain't got shit to do with race. It's about the broken fucking politics of Democrats. I've said this, I don't know if
Okay.
you heard me or not. There is not a bigger threat to the Constitution right now than the fucking Democrats.
That's
I'm
wrong.
sorry. I'm not
That's
so-
wrong.
so-
Are you serious?
Yes.
Can we talk about how Trump
Yes.
and all the different things that
Yes.
he's doing and how he's gotten to a point where he's made.
I ain't crazy about Trump
Hold
either,
up,
to be
wait a
clear.
minute. No. Let me finish. He's gotten to a point where he's made his supporters change their ideas about the Constitution.
Yep.
To a point where they're like, well, what is the Constitution? They're questioning
you
the Constitution because
Fought for in
of
military.
Trump.
That I
Yeah.
stood for in the
Exactly.
If you think there's
And the-
anybody in
the
either party that
different
gives a
things-
fuck about the Constitution of the United States,
things
I got a
that
bridge
he's
to say.
doing-
If you think anybody that is asking for your fucking vote in Congress or the presidency, or hey,
No.
I'll let you
Wait a
decide
minute.
down at the local and
You
state
brought
level.
up the Constitution.
But I'm gonna tell you,
just
there ain't nobody
also-
that gives a fuck about the Constitution.
I will
right?
I will say
Not
this.
on either
now.
side.
You know,
Any motherfucker that tells you they
8 years ago, I
Hey,
don't know if you would say that.
I
Until
will,
they
I
prove
will say
otherwise.
this. Now I
Trump-
do think
Trump makes y'all
I
think
do
that
think
way.
I mean personally.
Well, who the fuck
I
you
do
tell
think
me what I think?
Because Trump is making y'all feel that way.
Who the fuck is
Eight-
y'all?
I feel like
who
eight-
the fuck is y'all?
Trump supporters.
I'm me. I ain't
supporters.
none of y'all.
Trump fans.
I'm me. You want to know what I think? You got to ask me.
All right, hold up. Let's
But
wait.
bro,
Let's-
at least
because we
me.
got to move on.
on the
But-
Democrat-
The freak. What is up? Assumptions. What assumptions?
I will say this. I do think the Democratic Party. I do think the Democratic Party is weak. I will go on record saying I do think they're very weak. But we always our debt was budgeted under Democratic president. No, I'm saying they haven't done some effed up stuff.
The debt was balanced.
The debt was balanced
Yeah.
under
Get the fuck
Democratic
out of here
president.
with that.
And
There ain't been a
your
president
your
in-
cities.
Clinton?
Get the fuck out of
The last time the budget was balanced.
And your
Let him finish,
cities
let him finish.
and your
Nobody gives a
city,
fuck about
your most educated and lowest unemployment rate is under Democratic. Was always under Democratic cities and not Republican.
Can we
cities.
agree that America is a lot better than it used to be in every way?
For who?
Everyone.
No bullshit.
Who? Name
Bullshit.
one. Name one.
Bullshit.
Name one group.
Bullshit. You looking at it? It ain't better
From
for
which
us.
time in history?
When was America ever great for us?
Hold on, I'm asking for you specifically.
For
Listen,
me,
yeah,
me.
okay.
When was it ever
Do
great
you
for me?
think that you
Never.
had, hold on, let me ask you a question real
Go
quick.
ahead, go
Let
ahead,
me ask you a question.
go
okay?
ahead.
And maybe in your lifetime, it might be different. I don't know.
My
How old
life-
are you?
My mama, I'm 51.
Hold on. You 50. Okay, so
Yeah.
we right around that same age. I'm 45. All right. So let's say our lifetime excluded. Before
Oh, I agree. I agree.
our lifetime, has there ever been a minority group inside of a broader society that has had more advancement in rights and equality than Black Americans have had since the founding of the country? So if you're 45 and I'm 50, so let's say right up until 1975, right after the let's end it at the Civil Rights Act. Let's just say the 60s, because I think there's a housing bill that came in after the Civil Rights Act or something. Okay. From chattel slavery, the 3/5 compromise, to federally mandated equality, the president sent in the 101st Airborne to enforce desegregation in Arkansas. Y'all know that story too, right? When the local and state Democrats said, no, we will not allow Black students, we will not desegregate.
Yeah.
The president said, 101st Airborne, bayonets fixed, live rounds. Yes, you will desegregate. They sent in the 101st Airborne. So let's say from chattel slavery to there, in the history of the human species, has there ever been an example of a more swift or more?
And I find it really funny, right? It's like, oh, it's never been great. Never been great. Okay. You are a man, a 50-year-old man, has the time to do a podcast, right? Time to voice his opinions. A 50-year-old Black man, right? Probably has a place to live, food on his table, right? Bills paid. Enough time to do a podcast talking with a bunch of people. Yeah. The sheer victimhood of the Black community. It's the victimhood of the Black community, right? That is the problem. That is the problem, not racism. To have the audacity to say, when has it been great for Black people? You're literally have the most degrees than any other generation of Black people before. Right? You are wealthier than, there are more Black millionaires in America than anywhere else in the world. Even more in Africa, a continent full of Black people. Right? Whether you deem them as the same as you or not, but full of people of your same complexion. You have more Black millionaires in America than you do have African millionaires in Africa. Right? Per capita, Black people here in America is more wealthier than Black people in Africa. It's like, what do you mean? It's see, when you have this mindset where, oh, when has it ever been great for Black people? You're literally shitting on your ancestors' hard work. You're shitting on the people that came before you, their hard work, when you don't even think your life is better. Your life is better than your grandma's life, your great-grandma's, your great-grandfather. Your life is better than all their lives. They would trade their life for yours.
Successful advancement of rights for a minority group inside of a broader society. Does that make sense? I said a lot of shit, but does that make sense? Okay. Do you think there's ever been another example like that has been better than Black Americans in America?
That who had to fight for their rights?
No, I'm talking about objective reality. Look at it from the standpoint of an alien who is examining all of human history. And they look down and they see the story of Black Americans from the inception of the Constitution until 1975 as a minority group living in a broader multicultural society.
I want to answer your question.
Like Rome and a few others.
I want to answer your question, but don't interrupt me. Okay? Let me talk.
Yep, gotcha.
All right? 5/5 of a person. Let me finish. Okay? When Europeans were coming over from other countries, they were already white, a lot of them. And so there wasn't as much of a advancement needed for them, okay? They had privilege, okay? Especially a lot of these people were coming over and they were already free.
That's kind of ridiculous. I believe there were like Irish slaves. I think Jews were like, plenty of other white people weren't as privileged as, let's say, straight up, whites that were born here.
They didn't need to be freed. Okay. They weren't on a plantation. All right. Not only that, America, all right, was giving them privileges over other people, okay? Giving them all types of things, loans and different things of that nature that Black people weren't privy to, okay? And it was a lot of it, I'm not saying all of it, but a lot of it was due to their race, okay? And not only that, you know, when I think about, you know, after World War II and what America did for Jewish people, okay? And the different rights that they were given, they were, you know, looked at, even though a lot of them, some of them when they were coming over weren't even Americans. They had more.
Genku, what is up? Thank you guys for being here. Please like the live. Guys, please like the live. It helps me out. Please like the live. All right? It helps me out. So guys, thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for being here.
Rights than Black people did at the time.
Because they white.
Okay? Just because of the skin color of who they were. We were 3/5.
Well, I mean, do you want me to respond
Don't
to
forget
any of
that.
this,
So
or do you
yes,
just wanna-
yes.
Well, you told me not
wait
to
a minute, wait a
interrupt
minute,
you.
no, wait a minute. Yes, there was a lot of advancements that were made and different things that were made for Black people, but because we came for so low, we started way down here. And yeah, but we came from so far.
Can we
There-
both be?
For when you start thinking about some of the other people that were coming from Europe, they didn't have to come from that far down. They were considered right here, maybe even, you know, right on the same level.
Okay.
We weren't considered that, and
Well, I would like to go back to where we
We're
agree.
not gonna get to
so
everything
we can
we
at
wanted
least
to
try to
talk about.
establish where we agree. Can we both be right?
Go
Can
ahead.
we both be right? Can we both be, listen to me.
I
Listen,
get.
hold on,
Hey,
listen to
I
me
threw
for
you a
just
little bit
second.
of bone there.
I ain't fucking throwing me shit. Americans
Hey,
who
I
happen
wa-
to be Black.
I wanna
And
share
can agree
American
with
history
everything
too,
you
but
just fucking said.
we gotta
and
be
I wanna
honest
know
about
if
American
you can fucking
history.
agree with what I just said.
I agreed with part of it. Yeah,
Which part did you not agree with?
I can't remember what all I said just now. But
I can you explained very thoroughly the journey of Black Americans throughout
Yes.
history and why
I
we
think-
needed the
I
civil
think the
rights. I'm
shift-
listening to you.
I think what you were trying to get to
So
was
why the
that.
fuck should I, if you ain't gonna listen to me when I
Okay,
get my
no, go
perspective,
ahead.
why the fuck should I listen
Oh
to
yeah,
you?
go ahead.
Well, I'm
Give
saying
your
you can't
perspective.
summarize my positions.
I've been letting you
I
talk.
told you I was gonna
I
bring
let
the
you
fire.
talk.
You wasn't ready.
What you were trying to do was you were trying to frame
No,
it. No, hold on.
Yeah.
Well, you wanted me to tell you what I thought
What
that
I
you
was
said.
trying to do. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
You don't
You're
know.
right,
You
you're
wanted
right.
you
No,
wanted me
you're
to do
right.
this. By the way that you were framing that question, you were saying, has America done much for any of these other minorities as much as they've done for Black people? It's like the way that you
No,
were
that's
trying to
not what I
phrase it.
said. That's not
All
what I
right,
said.
what were you trying to say then?
See, well,
Go ahead.
Let me explain why you just said what you
Okay.
just said.
All right.
Because why you just said what you just said is because you perceive
Okay.
the world through these oppressor and oppression narratives
No,
that
no.
are associated with every time somebody talks about America, why things are the way they are in America now. It
Okay.
has to be framed through a historical context that explains an oppression and an oppressor narrative. Because that's the way that you view your politics. It's Marxist ideology that has been passed down through generations
Let's stay with this, though.
of progressive nonsense.
Let's stay with this. Let's not talk about Marxism because that's different.
What were we even fucking talking about?
I
man?
forgot.
No,
Like it's great
what I'm
again.
saying, no, I'm asking an objective question. First of all, America is motherfucking great. It's the best goddamn. Sorry about the cussing.
Hey, that's one
It's the
thing
best
I
country
agree
that
with.
has
America-
ever existed
America
in
is
the
great.
history of the world.
You're not going to
America's
get me
great.
to say anything bad about
America's
America.
great.
Yeah, but what I was saying was, regardless, I didn't want to talk about the objective reality of the discrimination of the prejudice that happens today yet. I was trying to establish an objective reality that we could share and agree that in 1975,
Yes.
50 years old, right? So 1975, 1970 was 74, 1974. Okay, that the civil rights and the level of equality and opportunity and legally mandated protections in place for Black Americans represented the highest level of achievement for a minority.
See, this is the thing I think is ridiculous, right? We've had a Black president. We've had so many Black people in power. Mayors, governors, senators, police chiefs, sheriffs. Black people hold the second most political power in the U.S., right? Black people, Black community holds the second most political power in the U.S. And you think that you're not great today is absolutely disgusting.
Group inside of a broader society that they were given equality. I'm talking about, excuse me, goodness. And I'm gonna have to get me some water.
Yeah. At some point we can take a.
But I'm asking, think about the Roman Empire, the Ottoman
Didn't say anything. All I did was point at you. Go ahead.
Well, why the fuck you pointing to me? I'm saying that these multicultural societies, which is what America is supposed to be, these multicultural societies that have to deal with these different identity group issues throughout history, that's usually been solved by caste systems. That the conquered people, they were the slaves. They were the people that, even when they were freed, they didn't have the same rights as everybody else. Because there was this higher level of, there was no blanket equality across all tribes, across all genders. Can we agree that from chattel slavery to 1975 America with the Civil Rights Act in place, that level of advancement is more than any other minority group inside of a broader multicultural society to ever exist? Can we agree about that?
I think I understand what I believe, if I may.
Let him finish.
I think he's trying to say, like, from where we started, supposedly, a little, to where we are now, it was a great feat and achievement, right? Is that?
Can you agree with that?
I agree. Yeah,
Can you agree with that?
Yeah.
But now, let me tell you what.
Agreement.
We take 2 steps, we have to take 3 steps back.
How?
Because let me finish.
Yeah.
The gerrymandering, for one, we're not getting getting representation, right? We need people who look like us to represent us, because people who look like us and who walk in our shoes, they know what we need. I'm not a rule.
Do they? Do they? I find this kind of honestly really foolish take, right? And this is the problem, right? It's the identity politics. It's the identity politics. Only a black person cares about a black person. Really? Really? Only a black person cares about a black person. Really? That's funny. Because if you talk to the people in these black communities, who kills you? Who robs from you? Who mistreats you? If you actually talk to black people, right, on the streets, you talk to, right, black people and ask them, who do you believe is dangerous to you? Who do you believe affects your life? Who's killed people in your family? I guarantee you 9 times out of 10, black people will say other black people, right? They rob from each other. They kill each other. They beat up each other. They mistreat each other, right? I thought black people care, right? I thought black people know what other black people want. I'm pretty sure I thought that's true. Stop judging shit by race. It's character. I mean, Martin Luther King said it himself. Don't judge people by, I'm paraphrasing. Stop judging people by their skin tone. Judge them by their character, right? Their character. This is why the Democratic Party can give you shit and they still get your vote. Because they know they don't need to do shit for you and still get your vote. Because you'll have a black president. You have a black a senator, black mayor, black whatever. How many times I've heard these black mayors have stolen money from the city, stolen money from their own city. Hell, you can look it up. Literally, Black Lives Matter, right? Black Lives Matter leadership has taken money from their own organization. So really, the only black lives that matter are their own. So really, do people of your skin tone actually care about you? And this is the problem with the black community, the mindset. Not fucking racism. And it isn't racism, it's mindset. All you care about is race. All you care about is skin tone. Black people care about skin tone more than white people do, right? That's the insanity. Black people care about skin tone more than white people do. White people aren't, I'm talking in general, they're not thinking about your race. They're thinking about your character, your personality, your attitude, your actions. Black people, all they care about is race. That's it. All they care about is race. They don't give a shit if you're a shitty person as long as you're race. They don't care if you are or whatever, right? They don't care what your beliefs are as long as you're race. That's it. And that's the problem, right? That's the problem within the black community. Yeah, I mean, yeah, a lot of white people voted for Obama. Like, seriously, Obama won by a landslide, I believe. And that's the problem, right? This is the problem here. This mindset. You constantly think about race. That is where you fail.
Person like you, I can't come down to the rural area and say I'm gonna hold a town meeting, right? Only way I can know what you need is to be amongst you and actually come down there and talk with you. They're not going to do that because you already look down on the minority anyway. So why I need to stoop down to your level to represent you? No, I'm gonna tell you what you need, and this is what you're gonna get. And what you're going to get is what I ordained for you to have. We are missing that representation, right? True, yeah, there was a great feat of where we come from and where we are now, but yet a lot of us are still struggling. And then honestly, and it ain't your fault. I don't expect you to really
I'm not
get
taking
it.
responsibility. Hey, there is no,
put like this.
I'm listening to
Hold on,
every
hold on. Let me walk in our shoes. You don't. Your scope is not our scope.
Yeah.
You don't walk in my lens.
Yeah.
So obviously,
I'll never know what it is to be a black man in America.
I'll give you an example. Let's say, right, it's a table with the king. You eat at that table all the time. You might not sit next to him, but you at that table. Me and him, we eat outside. We have to eat outside every time, right? Now we don't get to the point where now we inside, but we not at your table. We way in the back at a smaller table. But then we say, but you're the only one who speak to us. And we say to you like, dang, man, you know, you guys eating good over there. And you're like, man, bro, relax. I mean, hell, you was outside. At least you inside now. Accept that.
Can I use your metaphor to explain?
But but listen, that's what it's like. You're inside.
That is a victim mindset, right? Your little story, your little antidote, that's a victim mindset. Because here's the thing where let's be straight. If you're the king, nobody, white or black, is going to eat with him that he doesn't want. There'll be white people eating along, right? Eating along with you outside. This is the problem. It's like, oh my God, white people automatically eating with the king. Are you kidding me? There are, like, in the US, there are more poor white people than there are poor black people, right? Statistically. There are more poor white people than there are poor black people. Right? Already there. You're losing statistically. It's like, this is the problem, right? This is the problem with that mindset. You think you're automatic a victim. You think you're automatic a victim, and you think that automatically the white people are oppressors. White people are doing better.
The house, at least you're not outside eating in the rain. At least you're inside. But yeah, we're at a smaller table. We don't got all the fixings like you have at the big table, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now we're inside. Eventually, we don't even try to. Some of us may try to get to your table, and if we do get to your table, it's a long table. We're at the end of the table, right? Even if we make it there, only one or two, we still not eating everything you're eating, right? We may get our own table. Eventually, a slightly bigger table. That's what it's like for Black America.
And then now with this,
Can I respond to that?
thing,
I want to use that metaphor.
I know I'm still on this metaphor.
I want to use that metaphor.
Now with that metaphor, now they're trying to put us back outside on the table, and that's what's happening.
Nobody's doing
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's imagine in your scenario that proximity to the king is political power, right? Is that what we're talking about? And the people who sit around the king are based on the level of good ideas they have, how much education they have, how much experience, how much wisdom they have. Just stay with me. Don't try to tie it into a race thing.
By the way,
we let you talk.
Go ahead.
Stay into the abstract level of a thought experiment, okay? Suspend all your biases in your land, okay? Now, inside this culture that we have, nobody likes the redheaded kids. Okay, so when you have a redheaded kid, you start throwing these redheaded kids out into the wilderness, and you know they either die or they don't die, right? And then eventually the redheaded kids start finding each other, and they have little redheaded kid communities over there. And in the redheaded kid communities, they grow up and they're just regular people like you and me. And over time, the people associate the redheaded kid communities with the people that the kings didn't want. All of the wise people that sit next to the king that they don't really want. Right. Okay. But eventually they break down all the barriers and they realize that, hey man, there's a lot of smart fucking redheads over here. It's not a thing about the color of your hair. It don't mean shit. Okay.
I knew Eddie would point that out.
Got to do is, all you gotta have somebody teach you. You go to school and you fucking listen. Guess what? You're gonna learn something. If you listen to your dad normally and you realize that it's not anything to do with being a fucking redhead, it's just some stupid fucking cultural thing that we have. Right. And eventually more and more redheaded people start entering the tent and sitting closer to the king, and they gain more political power. And as they're gaining more political power, some of the other people might not like that, and they might start changing the values of the metrics that we use to say who is the smartest and who should be sitting next to the king, even though they are not intended, wait, let me say that differently. Even though they are not overtly exclusionary of the redheads, okay, that's the net effect that it has, that they start asking questions that you wouldn't learn about if you grew up in a redheaded village. Okay, you might not know about the sanitation of the city or the sanitation of the castle or anything like that, right? So when I ask you those questions, it doesn't mean you're stupid. It's just outside of your experience. It's just not something that you would happen to know about based on your life experiences, okay? And over time, these measures, and they go here and there, and they gain some, and then they lose some, and then eventually the politics become so toxic between these people over here who are used to having their political power next to the king and the people over here who have merit, who are trying to get more advanced access to the king. And more, this becomes based on the weaponization of the emotions of the people who think they are not getting enough representation in the tent. And they're going to walk up to all of the redheaded villages and say, those people inside of that tent fucking hate you because of your red hair. Look how many people they're letting into that fucking tent. That's bullshit. You and I both know that there's a lot of qualified people that need to be in that fucking tent, and they're not letting people in there. Now, how much of that is based on the merit of the people that are trying to get into the tent, and how much of it is based on the political games that are going on between the people with merit on both sides, when their ultimate goal is just to sit close to the king? They don't give a fuck about the identity groups. They don't give a fuck about your hair. They don't give a fuck about the tent. They don't give a fuck about anything. The only thing they give a fuck about is the political power that's going to be given to them when they sit closer to the king.
All right, let's where's your rebuttal to that?
So what he's saying, that's currently what's going on in the world.
And
right
that's
now.
why they can take away a congressional district and it
let's-
not be about race.
Let him finish. We let you talk for a while there.
So Redhead represent Black America, pretty much what he's saying.
Yeah.
The king, Donald Trump administration.
No, that's power.
Or the power, whatever.
Power.
All right.
The people who telling them who causing conflict, that's corporations. That's pretty much the structure of America. That's corporations, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty much what's going on currently right now, right?
That's all of that.
Now, granted, I will say this to you, right? I really wish what he's saying was the actual how it is, where you don't worry about race. I wish it was like how
would you know that? How would you know that it's not?
Because let me finish. Because in your analogy, you had to use redhead. So you had to depict a difference between the two people.
Yep.
So therefore, they'll use your redhead to say, oh, go against them because they're redhead. It's the same thing they do in the Black America.
Yeah.
They're using our race. That's what, even though you don't want to admit it's about race, you just use an analogy about race.
I use the analogy about race to show how it can be.
Because that is what is going on.
But this is what's going
you
on.
You literally just said it.
And you missed the point.
No,
you missed the
man,
entire
no,
point
no,
of
no,
what
no.
I just said. You listened to the analogy,
I know,
but you missed the
but
conclusion.
you had to use race in order to bring your analogy so we can.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna be blunt. You are a minority, not because of your skin tone, because of your population. Right? This is the problem people don't understand. Tell me a minority group anywhere else in this world, a minority group anywhere else in this world that has the same political power, the same push as the Black community in America. Name me one. Name me one. All right? I mean, to be honest, the only things that are happening probably in it's other Western countries, probably the UK, where Muslims are gaining extreme amount of political power, right? It's kind of crazy, but yo, Omni, what is up, my brother? What is up, my brother? This is the thing where you are a minority group. You are a small percentage of America. So what do you, it's like, this is my problem, right? This is my problem, Jews. I mean, it's like, yeah, I think Jews do have a good, but again, it's in America, right? It's all, this is the power of America, right? You are a minority group and you have as much as power as you have. It's in America. You're not going to find that anywhere else in the world. You're not going to really find that anywhere else in the world. So you are already a small group of the population, You have so much power already, but you complain that you don't have enough, right? That is the insanity. You have so much power already, yet you complain that you have enough. And I'm not saying that whether you should or shouldn't. I'm just saying that, like, are you surprised that you don't? Why are you surprised that you don't have enough power in America as a minority group? I find that insane to me, okay? I really do. Guys, please like the stream. Please like the stream. It helps me out.
Understand it. That's literally what's going on. Listen to what I'm saying. I get what you're saying. You're saying, look, man, it shouldn't be about that. And dude, I totally 100% agree with you. I don't judge you because you white. You may work just as hard as me or harder than me. You know what I'm saying? I don't do that. But the society that we're in does that. They do that. You know, more so for being Black, don't matter what your race is, but you get penalized for being poor in America now.
Classism.
For you being poor, you can't afford legal fees, you can't afford this, you can't do it. Did I grow up poor? I grew up.
I'm sorry. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I should not have done that. I should not have done it. No, because your personal experience. Let's keep it abstract.
Yeah. But
single.
Let him finish though.
Single parent home. My mother's a nurse, so she worked. We weren't considered middle class, but she worked, and then I worked. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's
most people, right? Most people are considered poor. You're no better. Your race doesn't make you, more poor than a white person that's poor. As this is the problem I find with, again, a lot with the black community. You misconstrue, right? Economic stability, economic placement with race. You misconstrue it, right? Being black doesn't automatically mean poor. Being poor doesn't automatically mean black, right? Stop blending that shit.
That's what's going on in society now, right? The same thing that you just said, right? Now, granted, like I said before, yeah, what you're saying is it shouldn't be, and I totally agree with you. It shouldn't be about that. We shouldn't judge a person of the content of the skin, just the content of the character. But in society we're in, that's just not the norm.
It's just the reality.
It's just the reality.
And we can talk about a lot of different things.
It's not the reality.
And you could talk about propaganda.
But you never want a government oriented around what you're talking about. That's a Nazi government, what you're talking about. The race-based orientation of a generational race debt that sublimates society toward some kind of justice across groups.
But here's the thing. Why do you think that people are talking about race specifically? It's mainly because
power and money.
America was born on this stuff.
Exactly. It's woven into society.
Literally in Constitution.
It's the fabric of
that the white people had more rights.
Do you think there's more to the Constitution, or is it just about race?
No. Listen, I think that there's a lot of great things in the Constitution.
So when the settlers came over, who could vote and who couldn't vote? You never could tell me who could vote and who couldn't vote.
Oh, you talking about the settlers? Or are you talking about in the first? Because the Constitution wasn't until 1787. And the states determined voting rights.
I shouldn't say the settlers. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Who could vote and who couldn't vote on the Constitution? Who could vote and who couldn't vote?
On the Constitution?
Who could vote? Well, okay.
Landowners. Most white people couldn't vote. Most white people couldn't vote. Landowners did, right? Or people with actual power. Most people didn't vote.
Okay.
Hell, most men didn't gain voting until a little bit before women gaining.
All right, let me rephrase earlier, right? In order to vote, right, initially, you had to be, and granted, and this is not even poor whites. You had to be a wealthy white man. You had to own land and own slaves.
You had to,
no. If you had to own land, and then when you
you didn't have to be a white man.
No, yes,
No,
you
didn't.
Native Americans were not under the Constitution. They couldn't vote. As a matter of fact,
they didn't own land, nor were they wealthy.
After slavery got abolished, some of them still had their slaves.
I will bet you $500 that a woman could have voted for George Washington. I'll bet you $500 that a freed black man.
This is how they justify.
Yeah.
Who is they? Who the fuck is they?
A freed.
Who the fuck is they?
People who think like that.
Don't put me with nobody. Why you keep doing that? Don't do that.
Pull up.
Who the fuck is they? You gonna be calling me you people?
Let me.
You know I love you.
I like,
you know I'm not mad, right?
All right, so this gets to what we wanted to talk about, right? Does white privilege actually exist?
Well, do we want to move off this subject?
Wait a minute, because I know exactly where you're going to go. So you're going to talk about how
we gonna have you back
black people also still, they could vote and women could vote and all of these other things, right?
Well, first of all, those are facts.
Wait a minute.
Those are facts.
Okay, I'll give it to you.
I'll
give it to you. Hold on.
Pull off some bullshit.
Finish. Let me finish though. So most of the black people.
And this is the thing, them interrupting, it's conversation, right? So it's fine. I mean, it's not the best, but it's part of conversation. So it's understandable.
People, let's say in the 1700s that were here in America.
Were slaves.
Were they slaves or were they
citizens
slaves.
Of
America?
Slaves,
okay.
Definitely.
Were slaves allowed to vote?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think that would make much sense.
Were slaves considered?
Aren't you technically property if you were chattel slaves? I don't think you should. I don't think you'd be able.
Human. At the time.
Are you talking about legally?
Legally, yeah. Were they considered fully human?
Well, we're talking.
No, wait.
I don't know.
Constitutional.
What did the Constitution say?
We're talking about
were slaves considered people?
I
don't know.
The morals of America at the time.
The morals of America at the time were the Christian abolitionists.
Human at the time, though.
Well, by who? You can't. You're talking about an entire civilization.
By America.
Do people consider abortion wrong? And it's like, well, fuck it. It's complicated.
By America.
A lot of people. It was controversial to start a country.
I know, but I'm just asking right now.
You can't say by America. You tell me, how does America feel about Trump?
I mean, like, America is divided by Trump, but
it's divided by slavery at the time of the Constitution.
Trump won the popular vote last time, right?
Yeah,
last time I checked.
Oh, you're jumping from stuff.
No.
Want to talk
you
about?
just brought up Trump. I'm talking about the Constitution.
Why you gotta I've been talking about all kinds of shit. Why you gotta jump on that like a cat with a laser pointer? No, listen to me.
know,
Do y'all want me
you're-
to answer you?
you're
I
a
will. Y'all keep
historian.
qualifying. Now
What's
answer
your
one.
answer? What's your answer?
The answer is that they were considered 3/5 of all other persons,
Okay.
which included Native Americans.
Now, were those slaves allowed to vote?
I wasn't
No, they
finished,
weren't.
by the way, but I'm
Go
going to
ahead.
let you.
Go ahead.
I mean, do you want to talk about the voting thing too?
No, I'm just
'Cause
bringing
this
up
is a
that
different
point.
subject.
We're
We're
just
talking
talking
about the
about that
Constitution
point.
and Three-Fifths Compromise, right?
All right,
Look
go
it
ahead.
up.
Finish your-
Get the text of the Three-Fifths Compromise.
Let me
Okay,
see.
so make sure that I'm telling you this right. It was
ahead.
3/5 of all other persons for the purposes of the census to determine the apportionment in the House of Representatives, how Congress was going to be oriented, because House of Representatives was the chamber of Congress that is based on the popular vote, that is based on democracy. So you had to count everybody. Now, that determines the number of representatives that sit in the House for that seat.
Okay.
That determines the number of electoral college votes for that state.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It explains how all these power games work. It was a compromise. Why it
At
was
the
called
time,
the
we only had
3/5.
13 colonies. Go ahead.
The reason it was a
Yeah.
3/5 compromise
Okay, go ahead.
is because there was a disagreement between the people who were adopting the Constitution over how power should be determined. Should it be based on everybody gets an equal vote? All the states get 2 senators? Or should it be, no, we need to base it on the population? It's the difference between a democracy and a republic. That's what the argument's been in America the entire time, is a democracy or a republic. The 3/5 compromise was enacted specifically to prevent the more populist states from having too much disproportionate power in the government based on the slaves that didn't have a vote, that were considered property. So why the fuck should they be counted as full people and used to gain political power if they're slaves? Why the fuck should we consider them full people? It's not fair
Because
to
they
the
are.
slaves. They are. But do you see how
I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm getting at?
But yeah,
Did
go
it again. I'm sorry,
It's all
man.
good.
Yeah.
You good.
But that's why it was a compromise. And I'm
I
not
understand.
saying it's right. I'm not
I
justifying
understand the
it.
compromise. Yeah.
Am I
reiterate
right?
some. I'll read it.
Yeah, please.
So it says the 3/5 compromise, 1787, did not literally define enslaved black people as 60% human. Instead, it was a formula in the U.S. Constitution, Article 1, Section 2, determining that 3/5 of the enslaved population would be counted when calculating a state total population for congressional representation and taxation. That's
Isn't that what I
it says.
said? Isn't that what I said?
You said some of that.
Well, was I wrong about anything? Tell me.
No,
I don't think you were.
I didn't
think you were.
say. I didn't say.
I don't
You said
want to
the
be wrong.
compromise.
Yeah,
That's
don't
why
hurt my
I read it.
feelings.
I read it too.
Isn't that what I
just so
said?
people-
That's
so
what I said.
People to get the gist.
All right, so yeah. I want to talk about white privilege, but I want to ask you something, because you specifically have brought up that women could vote at that time,
You said women and blacks.
You also felt like blacks could vote. Now, the majority of blacks who were in America at the time were slaves, and so could those slaves vote?
No.
That's my question.
No.
Okay. All right.
Definitely not.
And at the time, were women? I understand that they might have had maybe a chance
It's weird that he looks at the camera. I don't know. It's weird.
to vote. Is that what you're saying?
What I'm explaining, what I'm trying to make y'all understand is that the voting laws at America's founding were not based on race.
Okay.
They were not based on gender.
Okay.
They were based on land ownership. Now, that doesn't mean that doesn't correlate to slave ownership. That doesn't mean that doesn't correlate to the discrimination against women or even the discrimination against freed black men. That doesn't mean that you could vote in South Carolina just because you could vote in some northeastern state. I don't remember which northeastern state it was that technically a freed black man who owned land could have voted. That's why I say there's no evidence that it happened. I'm just saying based on the laws and how they were designed, our original inception was not based around race. It wasn't structured that way. The racial issue became a problem in the Andrew Jackson era, because Jacksonian democracy gave this power to the people and said, no, the free white men of society are going to overthrow these elites that are corrupt and trying to install a central bank and keep us from taking over Native American land or whatever they were trying to do. But that's where the racial aspect of American voting comes from. That's when the Jim Crow laws start getting passed. And it wasn't just anywhere once, there's places all over. Y'all know the history better than I do. Mm-hmm. But the point I'm getting at is, and I'm not saying that historical context of the Black American struggle does it explain. I'm not saying it doesn't matter today. It explains there's nothing that it doesn't explain about our modern racial situation, because it brought us to this point. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying there's not racism, tribalism.
Now
right?
tell me why do you believe that we don't have that people don't have white privilege?
Well, I've never said that we don't have white privilege.
Okay.
I've said that white privilege exists in a certain way.
I don't think so. I don't think so, right? There is no white privilege today, okay? So to say that, let's say, because this is the problem, right? You saying white privilege. automatically means being white is a privilege. It's not. It's not. Because if being white was a privilege, then white people who are poor are technically, by your own saying, are privileged. They're not. Okay. Now, you got to reinterpret this where, yes, the people who gain generational wealth are probably mostly white people, right? But you can't signify a minority of people as a privilege for the majority of people. Okay. Sadly, it's just we have a a tax bracket issue, right? Tax bracket privilege, where certain wealthy people throughout history able to pass down their wealth, right, throughout time. It's just kind of a crazy thing, but it's just part of the world we live in. So I wouldn't call that white privilege, right? Particularly for today, okay? I mean, maybe back in the day, yes, how he started his wealth was probably a white privilege in a sense, and then passed it down. Yeah, I kind of get that, but being white doesn't automatically gain you privilege.
Okay.
Explain your ideas.
Okay, well, let's differentiate first. Let's differentiate
privilege
between privilege and white privilege, okay? Because I think you can agree with me that there's such thing as
There are
we can all
privileges.
agree there's privilege in America, right? We can agree that there's privilege beyond racial lines. There is. Hold on, don't get to white privilege just yet because it's
No,
different.
I
And I know it's in Hollywood for what's his name, Randy Quaid's kid to star in the Amazon Prime. You know what I'm saying?
Dennis Quaid. That's called nepotism.
Yeah, the nepotism of the. Okay, so y'all see what I'm getting at. And the reason that white privilege exists in America specifically is because and I'm gonna say I don't want y'all to get pissed at me and pull me off on a tangent, but white men built the modern world. Okay, they didn't do it alone, but they built the modern world, and as a result of doing so, they now, as a generational result, control the majority of the positions of power. They control the avenues of opportunity into universities, and they control all of the the doorways of success and promotion and all this stuff.
But here's the thing, right? This is why I don't necessarily disagree, but it's not necessarily because white people built the world. You are you are the majority in a country. I mean, to say that majority of white people wouldn't be the ones to go to college or have jobs or whatever. You're the majority, right? Chinese people are privileged in China because it's just common sense, right? If that's what your ideal privilege is, they have the most degrees, they have the most jobs. Yeah, they're the most of the population. They're majority of the population. But here's the thing where I could break that privilege, right? I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but Asian people, out-earn degrees compared to white people by per capita. Asian families, Laughing Man, what is up, my brother? What is up? Asian families, right, have a higher median earnings than white people. You control this a nation so much, yet other people can surpass you. So it's not necessarily control, okay? It's that you are predominantly the populace, right? I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe 60% of the U.S. is white. 60%, right? You are a huge majority. So it's not a crazy thing to think that, if you're a huge majority, you will make up the majority of all these other things, right? The majority of people who have college degrees, the majority of people who, have jobs, the majority of people who are millionaires. There's not necessarily a surprise when you're a majority. Just like I could say the majority in China, Chinese people wouldn't be the majority millionaires. No duh, right? If you make a huge number, right? If you are the huge number of the population, it's not surprising that you make up, huge number of certain studies or statistics, right? But like I said, where I could break down this whole ideology, right? Asian people in the US are surpassing white people. So it's not necessarily a privilege, right? Not necessarily a privilege when you are the majority of a population, okay? And I think that's the problem too, where you're getting lazy. White people are getting lazy, right? White people are being lazy about it, and you're seeing the results. And this is the problem, right? This is This is the problem with the black community, where they should have learned from immigrants, right? The black community should be learning from immigrants, because immigrants are outworking white people, right? Immigrants are outworking white people, and they're increasing in wealth and education. They're doing better than the white community.
It's disproportionately controlled by white men, right? We can all agree with that. That's a natural result of that. And an aspect of that is the white privilege that comes from the unconscious bias that we all have to prefer people that look like us, right? The mirror bias of evolutionary tribalism that it told us, you know, hey, when something new happens, don't stick your hand in there, you know, you might die. It's an evolutionary mechanism to stay away from things that are new and different. So you stick to your own kind. I'm not defending it because
I'm not, you know, I'm saying that white people are lazy. Not all white people. They're lazy in the sense that they're not working hard enough, right? The white people aren't controlling. They're mentally ill. They're not controlling their white liberal women. So, you know, that's what's happening. While Asian people are, you know, minding their own business, they're working harder, right? They're working harder than the white community, right? So they're out, you know, pacing the white community in many things.
America's multicultural, and that's an aspect of what we have to get over. And in that context, along with the systems that were built over the course of this history, there is an element of white privilege. Now, does that mean that America is fundamentally flawed? I don't think so. I think that what that means is the values in the Constitution have been imperfectly applied since the beginning. That's why I call it the founding hypocrisy when we talk about the 3/5 compromise, okay? Because you cannot, in the same document, espouse the rights of all people and equality of justice for all and, you know, these great natural rights of John Locke, while simultaneously saying these people over here who were bonded into chattel slavery are not real people. It's a founding hypocrisy, okay? So we've never gotten it right. We fell to democracy almost immediately. And then we fell into capitalism and corruption and industrialism and progressivism and military industrial complex. And now here we are. And we're in the era of, among other things, the weaponization of our tribalist natures and the emotional factions of a democracy and how to mobilize them in order to achieve political power. That's where we are right now. Now, I'm not saying, I do not believe America is fundamentally flawed. I think this country is the greatest country that has ever existed. I think it's the greatest country that can possibly exist once you start breaking it down to what it means as a philosophical principle.
You know, I would love to get big and someone do clips of me. Hell, go for it. I don't mind. I don't mind people clip shit, right? I don't mind. Clip it. Right? I would love it. Right? I think that'd be fun. Right? I would think, you know what? I made it, right? Or people would clip shit out. I would love it. Yeah, Asian supremacy, sure. Your Asian women seem to like the white men. Statistically, right? Statistically, Asian women don't marry white men at as high of a degree as you think, right? Now, I will agree, right? I believe if I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like, Asian women do marry, they are the most in interracial relationships out of other racial groups, right? I agree, but still, right? Statistically, Asian women marry Asian men more, right? They out marry you know, other groups more, right? So I think Asian people have the highest marriage rates, right? I believe so. Yes. Asian Americans have the highest marriage rates. They have the highest marriage rates, and you know, I wouldn't, and I don't think I think it's a small percentage of them marrying white people. Now, I don't care, right? I'm not gonna cry that Asian women are marrying white men. I could care less. I believe, you know, to each their own. I don't care. Hell, on this channel, I'm a big supporter of the Passport Bros. So I don't mind, you know, my brothers, go get yourself an Asian woman, right? Go get yourself a feminine, right? A feminine Asian woman. Go for it. I mean, no, uh, you know, why would I say like white men? Why go for white liberal women, right? Because I believe there's a huge. I'm not correct. I'm not sure if I'm right. I'm not 100% sure, but correct me if I'm wrong. I believe a lot of white women are liberal, right? So, yeah, don't get with them. Go get yourself an Asian girl. I'm not gonna cry about that.
Do not think we are going to survive if we keep going down this road of democracy and emotional factions and tribalism and he got more than I did and that's not fair.
That is insane, right? The freak, 30 to 30, 35% of 35 and under of the population identifies as part of the alphabet community. That is crazy stupid, right? And in my opinion, thanks to feminism. It's thanks to feminism that the alphabet community is growing. That's ridiculous.
And I'm not saying there's not valid complaints. There are. Okay. But I think that just like with any national political issue, there are good points on both sides and we're not listening to each other anymore. And there's only, well, there's not one people. There's two sets of people who benefit when none of the other people can agree. And it's the people who gain power from voting. And I think this Voting Rights Act is the latest. So white privilege exists in the context of the unconscious bias that white Americans have as the majority people who control these avenues of opportunity and promotion and success, who are going to unconsciously prefer people that look like them. Now, there's other elements to that, but that part of it is a real thing.
Yes.
Okay. And that's why I think in a multicultural society like the one that we have, it's not too much to ask.
Here's my problem with that, right? Here's my problem with that. I don't think that that's necessarily true today. Why? Because it's a very, very obvious thing where we're having more and more white liberal judges, right? Letting off minorities, right? We have more and more companies choosing diversity over possibly merit, okay? So we're having companies choosing DEI, diversity, all this shit over, let's say, I don't know, choosing white people. So I don't necessarily believe that that's really true.
To educate people about your unconscious bias, to just say, hey, man, it's nothing personal. You're just going to prefer not an evil or prejudiced thing, but you have to recognize it so that when you're controlling the avenues of opportunity and advancement in a society, you don't give into it in a way that denies someone an opportunity for no real good reason other than, but if we swing the pendulum too far and you move too far away from merit,
No, I mean, I agree with you. I obviously white privilege does exist. And I think that it's important to acknowledge that as a fact. A lot of people don't. A lot of people feel like, man, where is this privilege? Especially the people who are living in today's world. It's like, well, they feel like black people grew up with the same amount of opportunity as they did. And, and it's just like, no, it's different because at a certain point, black people weren't considered human. And I know I keep coming back to.
That's the problem, right? At a certain point, what point? Let them name the point, right? At a certain point, what point, right? So it's not today, right? It's not 10 years ago. It's not 20 years ago, right? It's not 30 years ago. I mean, name me the point, right? Name me the point in time. What you would do is not name today. So this is the problem I have with all, when black people try to argue or debate, their points. They will use history to validate today, okay? No one argues about history. No one's arguing about history because it's already known, right? Racism was there. Who's arguing about that? Today. Talk about today, right? This is the problem I constantly talk about. Why is the black community shackled to the past? You are constantly shackled to the past. And because you're shackled to the past, you can't move forward. You can't move forward. Almost every category, right? Wealth, education, whatever. They're the bottom of the list. Why? Because they're shackled to the past. Because they think in the mindset of oppressor and oppressed. right? They think of the mindset of victimhood.
That, but it.
Why,
you know,
why
when
do you
you
have to
give- wait a
frame
minute,
your
let me
modern day
finish it.
perspective through a
Because
historical lens? Why?
Context always matters.
That's not the context. That's not the context. The context is your actions, right? Your life history, right? That's the context. The context is in the past because it's absolutely absurd. I've yet to talk to anyone, right? I've had a few debates already. and I'm going to have a ton more in the future, right? I've yet to debate with anyone that actually can prove to me that racism, slavery, Jim Crow actually affects you today. You, right? Individual black people. How does it affect you? How does it affect your community today? I've yet to debate anyone, and I don't believe I've lost, right? That can effectively argue that racism, Jim Crow, slavery has actually hindered you today.
And when
But why
think,
is the only
let me
context we're
finish.
always getting
Let
for
me
these
finish.
arguments historical?
Let me finish, because we're talking about history, and you got to understand.
Do you think that the
where
philosophy of
people
America's
came
founding
from.
is more important than the history and
Here
the application?
is Americans, by the way, weren't even considered Americans at the time. They were slaves. Most black descendants of slaves didn't have any rights until like the 1860s. Now, America was starting to come together back in the 1600s.
That's not true, what you just said.
Wait a minute.
Did you say all black Americans? Or
I
did you say
no,
some?
I did
Okay.
not. I didn't even say Americans. I said black descendants of slaves. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, that's not true.
White American power and having an advantage and all of these things. And until the Emancipation Proclamation in the 1860s came about, okay, that's when black people started to have some rights. And then to your point, because you talked about
For the record,
things,
black
I'll let you
people
talk
had
for-
rights.
I'll let you talk
I know,
for like
but you're
5,
wrong,
6
and I want to make
minutes
sure that
without
you know
stopping
you're
me.
wrong. But go ahead.
Without stopping
That's
me.
fine.
You
So
saying to
black
my point?
people,
What?
when in 1865, once the Emancipation Proclamation had happened, one, they didn't even tell a lot of black people, and that's why we have Juneteenth, because like they still were lying to a lot of the black people who were freed. Yet they had to go to Texas and tell them,
Because they
hey,
wanted
this is
another
what's happening.
harvest. They wanted another
Now,
harvest.
a couple of years after that, they started to take things out of the Emancipation Proclamation. Okay, so although we had made a step forward, like this man was telling us earlier, they took things away from us. Okay, now, and then some of the black people at that point, okay, they had some rights, right? But America didn't give them anything. And so a lot of them had to go back to the plantations in order to make some money, okay, in order to feed their families and stuff like that. And so they were still on the plantations, okay? And then we get to a point where we talk about, okay, the 1900s, the early 1900s, and we start going through this. Now they bring in these Jim Crow laws. And, the three of us, by the way, we're in the film industry. And so we have to acknowledge the propaganda that was being placed on people with the movie A Birth of a Nation, I think it was called, at the time. And it basically started, there were factions of the KKK that were around, but they had kind of gone away. But it started the KKK again. And, the Jim Crow laws and all this stuff was in place. And so now, even when black people had started to rise and started to get a little bit of headway, now here we come with all these different things and these different laws that they're now under. And now we go from Jim Crow to us trying to get a vote. We're still trying to do different things. And by the way, I'm skipping through history, but there's so much that was happening. I mean, there was like the Black Wall Street and all these different things that were taken away from black people. Oklahoma City, like them burning down the things, Tulsa, Oklahoma, let me rephrase that. And all of these things that were happening throughout history, okay? People's rights being taken away from them, giving a little bit of inch, and then they're saying, snatch that right back, okay? And you wanted to talk about the 70s earlier, and all of this stuff and all of that. But you're very strategic in what you want to talk about, because you leave out the fact that how through laws there was a war.
I'm not
there was
strategic.
a war on drugs and all of these different things that were happening,
crime bill?
and how the white kids they could.
Did you bring me here just to lecture me?
No.
Did you bring me here just to lecture me about the?
I'm just going on. Let me
racist American
let me talk about
history,
this.
because I can listen to it. I know all this shit you're saying.
I know, but
and if you just need to vent to a white man, dude, I'm here for
is
that.
the
I'm okay.
context.
I'm all right with that. I will be that guy. I respect you. I will be that guy.
Do you agree that context matters though?
Okay, how long did you just fucking spend talking about
I'm
history?
just saying.
How long? I want to know
By the way,
how many minutes you just spent talking
But
about fucking history.
he had more time
No,
than me.
that's why I was quiet. I was gonna let you talk, man.
I gave him a long.
You did, and that's why I was being respectful.
Hey.
And all you fucking talked about was history. We talked about white fucking privilege.
Yeah, he paid attention to oppression 101.
But I'm talking
and you
about
went
privilege.
off on a historical rant that took us through American history. It didn't say
Because
shit about why I have to give a fuck about white privilege in modern America.
This is why white people have.
Who the
been
fuck is
empowered.
white people? Don't fucking group me with other
I
race
didn't say
people in
you.
my race.
No, I didn't say you.
You said this is why white people using
Have
this
had-
indicates
No,
my
I wasn't talking
behavior
about you.
and the things I'm saying.
See,
This
you
is
didn't
why
let me
white
finish.
people.
I wasn't
don't
talking
fucking
about
group me
him.
with.
I was grouped you.
I'm bringing the fire. I thought y'all wanted to. We just talking.
I live for the
That's
fire.
funny.
But I'm passionate. I love this fucking country. Okay, I love this fucking country.
You
And you're an
should.
American.
You should.
You're
You
an
should.
American.
You should.
I didn't even know who the fuck that was until he cross-dressed as Erica Kirk or something.
No, when he did the American at NASCAR.
All I saw was him cross-dressing, and I'm like, I don't need that. And
What is that, the NASCAR?
I actually think I did.
American,
That's
that's
what I
what
fucking.
I mean.
Hey, I'm all right with it.
That's what he
Y'all
was
can make
saying.
fun of the
Talking
reason
about
that
why white privilege exists.
the reason that you frame your political ideology in the
No.
present on the historical
talking about
context
white
of a
privilege.
race-based oppression narrative around some kind of a historical atrocity
I'm talking
is
about
because
white
it's
privilege.
a Marxist principle to
No.
base your concepts of justice around group justice that it measures out the imbalances of society based on an oppression and oppressor orientation. I'm forgetting the
Ideology,
fucking word.
yeah.
I'm losing it. But
White privilege.
it's a Marxist ideology. White privilege exists in a very, very limited way. Okay, a very, very limited way. And right now in this country, right now there is less white privilege than there has ever been
What do you think about
in
that?
the history of this country.
I can debug that. I don't even have to go back as far as history. You know, you can go to you already know about redlining. You're a veteran like me.
I know what redlining is.
They didn't give. We couldn't get VA home loans.
Who the fuck is we? Why are you?
Black.
But I'm saying
Listen,
you are
black,
not
black.
your race. You are an individual person.
So-
why
so-
why do that?
Also, too, in America, that's
Here's the thing where, let me say this. I don't disagree where, when redlining started, probably, I mean, I'm not digging that deep into it. Yeah, probably was a racist kind of mindset. I honestly believe it was more of a social a wealth concept where, all these poor people there, all these poor people there, all these wealthy people here, okay? Just the thing where it's this concept where, okay, we know all the poor people here, even though they're black, we know that all the poor people is here, well, they have probably bad credit, they don't work or whatever. So why would I give money to them? This is why I say where, this is why I say that the black community should learn from immigrants, right? The black community should learn from immigrants because we didn't need the white man, right? We didn't need the white man to loan us money. We loan each other money, right? We learn each other. We worked hard and we loan each other money. That's the thing. We created, our own little systems. We sent money between each other, right? Family sent money to family. That's how immigrants worked, right? That's how immigrants did the things they did. Immigrants weren't getting loans or money from like the white man. No, the white man don't care about them. They were doing it between a community, right? They were pulling money together, doing it through a community.
where they started white and black. In Europe, your people wasn't considered like white. We wasn't considered
people.
black. You know what I mean? People.
I
who
know
look
what you
like-
mean. I don't like
But
viewing
you don't
and
wanna-
I get that that's part of white privilege.
And
I get what you're saying.
We're just trying not
respect
to be
that.
naive
I
about this
respect
thing.
that. But at the same time, though, I think with the brothers being sincere.
And this is the thing where this is why this Asian man is talking about this shit, right? This is why this Asian man talks about race in the black community. You need a new perspective, right? You need someone to just be blunt, see things on a different lens. Because this whole white and black people talk, when white and black people talk, they don't get nowhere. They don't get nowhere, right? They don't see the logic. They cannot see it for the flaws in your logic.
I think, but man, don't really want to look at people from that scope, and I get that.
You
really
talking about
wanna-
looking at people from a race?
Yeah.
You'll
I know
never,
you-
we
I know you
will
do-
never be able
we
to
never
fix
get
our
it.
racial issues
Yeah,
or
and you don't wanna
multicultural
look-
issues if we are treating people differently based on race.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I get the
and
argument that
you're 100%
colorblindness
right.
is it's not help. I get the argument that it's not helpful because and correct me if I'm wrong. Y'all probably know more about this than I do. But the idea of colorblindness is it doesn't reflect the broken nature of the system, which is based around white supremacy because of the nature of the system that was built. Remember I said white men built the modern world? They didn't build it because to advance other races. They did it to advance their race. So the system itself.
Yeah, I mean, like, I see redlining, right? I don't disagree that there were maybe racial context to it or, you know, undertones to it, but it's mainly about social standing, right? But yeah, if it's about social standing, but when, you know, a good amount of the populace is black and poor, you're gonna see it as you being racist. I get it.
I got a little bit of pushback on that, right? When
Okay.
you say they built the modern world, I think they created an infrastructure in the Constitution. We built the modern world. You can disagree all you want, but I can show you plenty black inventors for some of the same liberties that you walk around today that you wouldn't have if it wasn't for a lot of black people.
Can we
You know what
agree
I'm
that the
saying?
vast majority of the positions of decision making and leadership across all avenues of society have been occupied by white men since the Constitution and up until right now today?
No, I would say by
Part of their white
men-
privilege is that
men,
they do
period.
occupy these avenues of power.
And that is the infrastructure that they wrote
A
down.
society is built by the people
they
that are
wrote
making
down, right?
decisions.
That they wrote down. But people, you don't want to use race, but I have to use race. But we already had societies and infrastructures elsewhere.
Yep.
They had society infrastructure elsewhere,
Yep.
right? So
Yeah, but how does that look? How's the infrastructures and societies in Africa? You're not desiring to go to Africa, are you? Right? It's like, to be honest, like, majority of inventions are by white people in America. The majority of infrastructure is made by white people in America. They make up the majority of the population.
they took with their knowledge, what they had, well, we want to make something for us,
Yep.
right? So you just came up with the construct of that we built that, and we contribute to that to make it even more better than what the construct of what they had.
There was a world that existed before America. But
Way
yeah, go ahead.
before, and then,
Do
like I
you
said,
mean in Native American cultures that had
well,
invented
there's-
the wheel?
so
or
there-
in
there-
sub-Saharan
and-
African
and-
cultures
and-
that had
and
invented the wheel?
even if
Let
you
him
go
finish.
back even further,
Oh, like those
you will
places.
see there were people that looked like us here
Yeah.
before y'all even came here, right?
Yeah.
So like
No, there wasn't. Are you trying to say that Native Americans look like you? I mean, like, come on.
okay, so
Who
let
the
me
fuck is y'all?
So let me say this.
Please
right?
stop doing that.
So I'm not going to go.
Y'all would put up with that shit from me?
I don't even have to.
Right?
Or
Right?
just people
Let
that
him
look like
finish,
me.
though.
People
Let
like
him
me.
finish. Yeah.
So I don't even have to go that far back in history, right? We can start from education, and education goes on to this day, right? When I was in school, you was in school, we had to learn British lit. Everything is set in white society. I'm not gonna say you white society. We to this day we still have Columbus Day, and as time go on, all that is a lie. They discovered that black folks was already here way before him, and it even had another person
I
before
didn't learn
Columbus.
that-
Before Columbus in
I learned that people
school,
were here.
and before Columbus, that's what they taught us, right? They even said, oh, before him it was a guy named by the name of Leif Erikson. But see,
Right.
that's as far as they go, but they don't go all the way back. It's
They're
taught
teaching you
in
the
a
history of
European.
America, not the Native American people.
Yeah, but it's a false. It's a
I don't want
false-
my
it's a
taxes
false
to pay
narrative.
for every other society that's
It's
ever
a
lived.
false narrative.
To be no, it's not. That's the history.
Where's he getting his history? Right? No, according to the overwhelming consensus of mainstream historians, archaeologists, and geneticists, there's no verified evidence that black Africans were in America before Christopher Columbus arrived in 1492. What the fuck are you talking about? This is why this is the problem, right? This is the problem when white people and black people talk. You don't challenge each other well, right? Challenge them. What the hell are you talking about? Prove to me what you just said. What you just said was absolutely absurd. The idea that black people arrived in America before Columbus was popularized by Ivan von Sertima in his 1976 book, They Came Before Columbus. He claimed that West Africans, such as the Melanian fleet of Mansa Musa predecessor and ancient Egyptians, sailed across the Atlantic and influenced indigenous civilization. It's a claim, right? It's from a book that has doesn't seem like it has any kind of credibility to it. So really, it's like, this is the thing where, like, black people, the black community has enough, or they have good amount of amazingness to them. Why make shit up? That's my problem. Why make shit up? Because when you make shit up, you're trying to make yourself out more important than you actually are. It's stupid. It's actually stupid. The civilization that was here before Columbus was Native Americans. It's literally you're trying to erase Native Americans, and aren't you? You know better than the white people, right? You know better than white people. You are trying to erase Native Americans. This was their native land, not Black Africans. Black Africans were not here before Christopher Columbus. It is absolutely sickening, right? That I believe that Native Americans have it 1,000 times worse than Black Americans, right? Than Black American history. They have it a whole lot worse. Okay, so really, it's like to have the audacity to try to erase or hinder or whatever retell Native American history is absolutely disgusting. You weren't here before Christopher Columbus. You weren't, right? You weren't blending in with Native Americans. You weren't. You weren't teaching or influencing indigenous civilization. Stop it. It's absolutely disgusting. Yeah, I think that's disgusting. I really think it's disgusting.
That's what happens.
It's not. No,
Civilizations conquer each other.
But you don't. How can you discover something that isn't lost? If people are already here, you can't discover anything that's already there. You can discover a territory where there's non-inhabitants. Yeah. I have discovered this island. Yeah. You can't discover something where society already in place, even though in that time it might have been what we look upon as primitive. Yeah. But society and hierarchy is already in place. Yeah. What you did,
it wasn't. Right? Stop it, right? I'll be honest. It was tribal, right? It wasn't necessarily a society. It was small groups of people, right? That was Native Americans. They didn't make a city. They didn't make a town. It was nomadic in a lot of cases. It was a tribe of people. And even Native Americans, they didn't cover vast groups of land, okay? They didn't cover vast groups of lands. They didn't farm. They didn't, control or whatever, vast groups of land. So you could say technically people would discover, because it's just weird.
As you comment, like you said,
who did
society and took over the infrastructure. They conquered that society, right? And created their own infrastructures and their own constitutions, and then brought in other people to do the work, in which we build, and to the betterment of that society, right? Okay. So
you didn't build, you contributed.
So who was in charge and who was making the decisions?
They were making decisions.
Who's they?
White folk.
So it wouldn't be a stretch to say white men built the modern world? They're the ones in charge. They're the ones making the decisions. They're the ones leading the way. They're the ones determining who does what, who's paid for what, where we invest money, where we attack, whether or not we fight to free the slaves, whether or not I'm going to help these people on the Underground Railroad get to safety, whether or not I'm going to go out there and I'm going to march in Selma with these people who are fighting for right, and white people who are in charge of society.
That's interesting. Recent discovery in Sacagawea, I may have said that wrong, right? Or they discovered a permanent native settlement. That's wild. That's cool.
He's not disagreeing with you.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing. Okay. They created their like you said, their own infrastructure for them. They created infrastructure for them, right? That's why they
not from the beginning, but it was. I mean, over time, the white men who were in charge,
because
it became racial. I ain't gonna lie to you. And even at the beginning, they were racist. Of course, they were racist. It was the 18th century. But that was not ingrained into the Constitution. The racial aspect of supremacy.
It started off, and see, once again, we got to. I'm trying not to go as far back to history, but since you take it there, we have to do that. So,
and this is why if I was talking to them, I would challenge them on it, right? That's all they do. That's all they can do. History. This is when people, when they want to talk about racism, white privilege, any criticism of America, they use history. History is I said this, no one can disagree with history, right? You can't disagree with history. It happened. We know it. You can't disagree with it. The problem is you can't prove it to be a problem today. That's the problem, right? That's the issue. You can't use history to prove your argument for today. You can't use history to prove your argument of racism, of white privilege, of any criticism of today with history. You can't. I've yet to hear a good sound argument, a good sound take using history to, have an argument, a debate today.
Even with Christopher Columbus' memoirs, and he wrote Back to the Queen. These peoples are so generous, and you can really pull this up. Everything I'm saying
is from a people's history of the United
States. Exactly. They will give us. We can take and use them and do whatever we want. because that was just the nature of the people to
Yeah.
be generous and give to your fellow
Yeah.
man, but that wasn't their nature. They didn't
Every
come for that.
civilization that has ever existed has conquered other civilizations and taken slaves and used them for work, and it's existed throughout history. There's only been
It has.
one civilization that has completely abolished slavery and then given generations of former slaves equal status in their society. Only one civilization's done that. Yeah,
The UK, right?
Yeah, them too.
Yeah.
All right.
They did abolish. I mean, they led the way on the slave.
And then look what happened at the UN.
Yeah,
When all
but
the
really,
nations went,
you're talking
America
about
didn't
Westerns.
want
All of
remember
Europe's about to
at the
right.
UN. Remember they went to the UN and they had that about was slavery the biggest atrocity, and all countries agree except with US, I believe, was it Israel?
Can I ask a question? What does that? I mean, what effect does that have? Why does anything you just said matter? Like, why would we care about what the UN thinks is the biggest atrocity? What's that got to do with shit?
Because it wouldn't matter to you, but it would matter.
Why
to
would it
people.
matter? I'm asking why would it matter to you?
Why it matters?
Yeah, well, what does it change in your life?
Because a lot of black folks in America need to be made whole.
Does that do anything to make you whole? The UN declaring this
It can
thing
be a
that
start.
happened?
It can be a start.
And now,
Because-
yeah,
Go ahead. That would acknowledge the atrocities that happened. So if you acknowledge the atrocities, then I mean you have to address it. And by you would address it, then
Is
you would
anyone
have to do
denying the
something in
atrocities
place.
happened?
America did.
Who
America
did?
denied it.
Who did?
You didn't hear about that?
You talking about at the UN?
Yeah, America denied it. They denied it.
Okay.
They denied it.
I learned
America
about the atrocities
still
in school.
denies-
I don't know anybody
Yeah, they
that says
deny-
slavery
they
didn't
deny it.
exist.
By the
and
way,
slavery was
America
bad. I don't
still
know anybody
denies
denies it.
atrocities that
Yeah.
has happened.
Who is
here in
America?
America.
Who denies?
Now,
who denies?
we have 10 minutes. I want to take these 10 minutes.
So you don't like
and
it
I
specific?
want us to talk about real fast. I want us to talk about reparations.
No.
Do you think that America should have reparations,
I wanna
and
hear him.
why?
No.
Okay.
Go ahead. Oh, that's your
Go.
answer?
Well, I mean, that's
Oh, okay.
no.
Go ahead.
It's, yeah, it's very simple for me.
You
Do
say
you want
no?
to tell me why you think? I assume you think yes.
Yeah, of
So
course,
come,
of
let me hear
course.
it.
All right.
I disagree with everything you're about to say.
Okay.
So,
By the way, I'm in the middle on this.
Look at the
but yeah, go
average income of a white family and a black family. You know what I'm saying? They dollar don't even circulate. They dollar don't circulate right fast enough. Honestly, I don't necessarily think it's not only in the forms of financial, even though that's what they really need. You know, because I think they also need financial literacy as well. But it can be in the forms of education, taxation. It could be in a police reform. I think
me ask you a
these are
question.
I think that's the biggest sin on America is what they did to people who look like me and my, you know what I'm saying, and my ancestors. So yeah, I think they do need reparations.
well, so before I pull you off onto a different tangent, I want to ask you a
Go ahead.
question real quick.
Mhm.
If America implemented programs that were designed to treat the symptoms of generational racism, such as poverty, poor access to education, poor access to housing, all of these things that cause the second and third order effects of generational problems that are rooted in racism. Can we agree that those things are rooted in the black communities? Okay, there's nothing genetically inferior about black people. There's a historical context that has established why black communities are struggling in a lot of ways. And if we can agree that programs that are designed to address things like poverty and education outside of a racial context, but that are designed in a way that it will disproportionately help the racial group that is most affected by that problem, which is to say poverty, healthcare, education, whatever it is. If that was a form of reparations, would you accept it? Would you accept it? If that was a form of reparations?
You say for poverty, healthcare.
Yeah, if there were government programs that directly addressed the symptoms of generational racism, but not generational racism specifically. Like if we say that the symptoms of generational racism are, the disproportionate poverty rates,
Right.
you got broken homes, the family unit, and single moms can't afford stuff, and education, all this stuff.
And you saying, will we accept it?
What I'm saying is, actually, I'm not trying to throw you in a gotcha moment, so I'm just going to make my broader point,
Yeah,
which is
go
to say that's what's been happening since the 1960s. Since the 1960s, there has been a progressively escalating series of programs that have been specifically.
That's why I talk about this, right? America has put in billions into the black community. America has put in billions to the black community. Section 8, welfare, WIC, programs for college programs, right? I mean, we literally, America is literally funding HSBCs, right? America is funding black colleges. Black-only colleges. America's funding that, right? We fund black businesses, right? We directly, right, fund black businesses. We put millions into the black community.
Intended to address the symptoms of generational racism in Black American communities.
And let's get specific. Which programs are
what
you
programs?
talking
Where's my
about?
phone?
And let's talk about those specific programs.
Exactly.
Hold on just a
Because
second.
I kind of know what you're going to bring up.
You can make your point while he's searching.
Well, my point is this. America has been spending a lot of money. And, you know, when I was younger, I kind of was like, I bought into the ideas that we couldn't do reparations. I bought into these ideas that we could not do healthcare for people. I bought into all these ideas because I was like, well, America's already broke. We already have this deficit that's going on. And like, America's already broke and we can't spend any money and all this other stuff. And then I've seen what's happened. How many times we've bailed out these huge corporations, how many times we have helped out so many different people, so many different countries, how we have been fighting these wars and putting up trillions and trillions of dollars towards these wars, and how all of these companies are making trillions and trillions of dollars. And I go, wait a minute, I thought America was broke. I thought America couldn't.
America is broke, to be clear.
Wait a minute. I thought America couldn't do these things. And then we go through COVID. And I go, wait a minute here. Y'all are spending all this money.
Yeah, just print it. The government prints the money.
All right, hold on.
Just keep printing it.
Let's talk about reparations again. Let's talk about healthcare.
I'm ready to talk about reparations.
Let's talk about free
education. The Civil
education.
Rights Act of 1964, the Voting Rights Act of 1965, the Fair Housing Act of 1968, the Affirmative Action Executive Orders, Executive Order 11246, the War on Poverty programs of the 1960s, the Elementary and Secondary Education Act of 1965, the Higher Education Act of 1965, Minority Business Development Agency 1969, Community Reinvestment Act 1977, Section 8 Housing 1974, Equal Employment Opportunity Enforcement expansion, HBCU support, Title III ongoing, Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Programs, Pell Grants, SNAP expansion, Earned Income Tax Credit, Workforce Investment Act. Criminal Justice Reforms, First Step Act, 2018, Affordable Care Act, 2010, DEI initiatives in both the private and the public sector, federal contracting set-asides, 8A program.
Yeah.
That's what we've seen since 1960. So when we talk about reparations, if we talk about government programs that are funded by taxes that are specifically designed to address the symptoms of generational racism, but are not specifically targeted at a race, would that be acceptable reparations?
Exactly.
Yes.
No.
That's what's been happening since the 60s.
Tell me, what's the percentage of Black folk that actually affect?
I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know. That wasn't the question we were talking about.
But no,
that wasn't the question. You're asking about the impact of these programs.
Yeah, those same.
That's a different conversation.
No.
The question is whether or not that counts as reparations.
No.
Not whether or not the reparations worked.
No.
Those aren't reparations.
That isn't reparations. Reparations is designed specifically for Black Americans. Jews specifically had reparations. After slavery, white slaveholders specifically had reparations because they lost their slaves. We talking about specifically for Black.
You know, everything you mentioned, right? They also mentioned Japanese. Guess what? They affected them right then and there. Slavery, Jim Crow, isn't affecting you. So we're giving money. It's like, you know what? It's like, this is the thing where it's like, okay, I killed your child, right? I killed your child, but I'm going to give money. I'm going to give $1 million to your distant cousin. Your distant cousin you never even met. You don't even know, right? Your distant cousin. Your cousin from, like, you don't even know exists, but there's a little bit of a bloodline to it, right? You can trace his lineage to you. I'm going to give him $1 million, not you. Does that make sense? He's getting your reparation, right? He's getting the money that, you know what? Because I killed your child, right? This is what I'm going to do, right? For reparation, right? For the punishment, right? For killing your child, I'm going to give your distant cousin $1 million. $1 billion even. Does that make you happy? Does that help your is that a good thing for your cousin? How does that help you? Right? It's exactly that. It's exactly that kind of mindset. You want to make money, right? You want to make money off of someone else's suffering. Even the Japanese got reparation, but guess what? It's directly the Japanese that got hurt that are getting reparation. It's not their children. It's not their children's children. It's not their children, right? I mean, like, I believe before I looked at it, slavery was about 9 generations ago, right? About 9 generations ago. It's not little, but it's not a lot, right? I agree, but it's not a little, okay? Why is it 9 generations ago, 9 generations from now, you get the money, and then your answers are what? Don't? I mean, like, again, and again, he told you all these programs, right? He told you all these programs, they do target the black community, right? Because how can you say redlining, which was pretty much meant for poor people, right? Poor people, but that targets you, right? Because you were part of the poor people. But why are these programs made for poor people? They don't target you specifically. You see the hypocrisy there? You see it's like, this is the problem what I find with a lot of these, black arguments, a lot of these racist arguments, a lot of these arguments by these people, right? People like this. So redlining, which affects the poor, right? Affects the poor, right? They pretty much segregated poor from wealthy, right? They segregated poor from wealthy, and the poor usually the black people usually make up the poor. How can you say that, right, directly affects black people, redlining? Because they didn't say, oh, you know what, we're segregating black people. No, we are segregating poor communities, right? And, sadly, poor communities make up black people make up poor communities. Okay? So how can you say that, right? Oh, that, right? Redlining is racist because it targets black people. But you say he said all these things, right? Section 8, all these things. It doesn't target target black people because it didn't say it. So that didn't say correct me if I'm wrong, but redlining never said black people specific.
Already proved DEI is bullshit. Blacks are the last on the list to benefit from that. So none of those programs you name don't mean shit because we don't benefit from none of that.
Why should we keep spending money on things that don't mean shit?
Because Trump trying to get $1 billion, they about to pass for the fucking ballroom. They about to pass $1 billion.
What's that got to do?
So what he just said, they got money.
America
has money. They got the money. Okay. They give Israel $3 billion every year.
We're already giving money over there, so we need to give money over here.
No. The argument is they told us the reason why they won't do reparations is because it will bankrupt America.
Who said that?
People have been saying that for years. Come on, don't act disingenuous.
No, you'll never get reparations.
People have been
I say you because I'm assuming I'm talking to you specifically.
That was your rule, by the way.
I'm not talking about
to have that rule.
I'm saying you specifically are never getting reparations because it's not a constitutional concept. It is a violation of liberty to enforce consequences on a race.
My question is,
for a historical debt and allocate resources of a society.
Wait a minute.
Oh, that's not
How
fair.
come the Jewish people got reparations?
Why would you think that because it's okay over here, it would be okay?
No.
Answer the question.
Why would you think that?
Wait a minute. Hold on.
I don't know. Reparations?
You just told me.
I don't know. I don't care.
That it is a violation of the Constitution. Then why did Jewish people get reparations?
They shouldn't have.
But they got it.
I didn't do that.
They get $3 billion a year. By the way, which they have affordable health care. So the shit does work.
No.
It does work. Canada has it. It does.
Fact check. The United States government did not pay general reparations to the Jewish people. Now, I'm reading this, so if I'm wrong or right, let's see. Instead, the vast majority of Holocaust reparation, totaling over $95 billion, have been paid by the government of Germany. The widespread perception that America gave reparation to Jewish people stems from the fact that the U.S. government acted as a primary geopolitical enforcer and legal mitigator that force European nations and private corporations to pay billions of dollars to the Holocaust survivors. I've corrected these people plenty of times now. All right? This is the problem. I'm sorry. Uneducated, right? Uneducated people talking about a whole lot of shit. And it's not that hard. I don't know why they don't fact check themselves, right? I don't know why this white man didn't fact check these people. He's just taking what they say at face value. This is why these conversations fail, right? I would say, okay, that doesn't make sense, but okay, let me check it. This is why I'm going to check that shit. No, America didn't give Jewish people reparation. They were just the enforcer. They made Germany give them reparation. Okay? the only time I known where America gave reparation was to the Japanese, right? That they put in internment camps. But guess what? They gave it directly to the ones that are affected. Plus, I don't think it made, I mean, let me see. Like, a total of 82,000 Japanese Americans got reparation. 82,000. It's drastically different from the millions of black people that could have gotten reparation during that time. There's a difference, right? And to be honest, the reparation was, 20,000 tax-free payout. Okay. It's like,
no, that's a whole
It
other
does work.
conversation. No.
So it does
America's
work.
healthcare industry, it props up the entire world.
It does work.
It props up. It is not just our healthcare.
So we do need reparations.
By the way,
They do have
I mean, I'm just for me, just talking to
no, I really hate identity politics, right? I really do. Because when you go about identity politics, there's no facts to it. There's no facts to it. There's no logic when it comes to identity politics. It's just feelings. In this corner of the internet, facts over feelings. Facts over feelings. Right? On this corner of the this corner of the internet, facts over feelings. I don't give a shit. I don't care. I don't give a shit how you feel. Prove to me. Right? If you can prove it to me, I'll change my fucking mind. All right? That's it. That's all you gotta do. Prove it to me, and I'll change my mind. Prove to me how white privilege exists. Prove it to me, and I'll change my mind. Prove to me how racism affects black people today, and I'll change my mind. Prove it to me. Logically prove it to me. Don't say that I feel. Stop with that BS, right? If you can prove it to me, I'll change my mind. I'm not a stubborn fool. I'm not narrow-minded like that. Just prove it to me, right? Don't say that you feel this, right? You feel there's white privilege. You feel that racism is a problem. Stop with that bullshit. You're not gonna change my mind by saying how you feel. I don't give a shit. I can tell you how I feel. That's not necessarily gonna change your mind, is it?
You'll never get them. It's never going to happen in this country. That's the end of America.
And you know,
that's the end of
you
America.
know what it is?
you just said nobody ever says that, by the way.
That's
Now
the
you're
end of
saying
America.
it.
You see what I'm saying?
It's the end of America
why is
because
it the
this
end of
nation
America?
is built on philosophy. It is not built on history. It is not built on any of the systems it's built on philosophy. And if you start violating that philosophy
History
in a way
keeps
that is designed to enforce equity based on group-based
History
historical
keeps
atrocities
repeating
instead of
itself.
equal justice
Why do you think black
and
people
individual
want-
liberty, that's the end of America.
History keeps repeating itself.
Let me
in
ask you a
America.
question. Why do you think black people want?
How does history keep repeating itself? How? I mean, how many times throughout history that America was enslaving black people? How many times? I mean, this is the problem, right? When you don't challenge people, they're going to just say stupid shit. When you don't challenge people, they're going to say stupid shit. This is why, you know what? This is why I'm trying to start more of the debate shit. Right? Yeah, Japanese Americans, right? This is why I want to start more of that debate stuff, because I'm going to challenge you.
Reparations.
Why do I think black people want reparations?
Yeah,
I
go
wouldn't say black people want
They
reparations.
do though.
Why-
But who are you to speak for all black people?
Because I'm a
'Cause
black
they do.
man. And
So you
come
get to
from-
speak for all black people?
I'm-
How many black
reparations.
people support reparations? Are we going to say
Majority.
all of them?
Majority
Majority
of
of
black
them support
people.
reparations.
So should we
Yes.
refer
Majority
to them as an
support
entire group because the majority
of them
does something?
Majority of
But
them
just answer the
support
question though.
I
Why
don't
do you think they want
this
it?
phraseology? Why? First of all, I don't think you are qualified to speak for all black people,
Why-
and I
why
don't think
do-
I'm qualified to speculate on why black
Why
people
do-
think anything.
Okay.
So you want me to guess?
If you were black, why would you want reparations?
If I was black,
was black.
I've never played this game before.
If you were
I was
black, why would you want reparations?
If I was black, I would
What's
want
the first-
reparations.
Yeah, I agree. 77% of black adults believe in reparations.
Word you would say? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just. I should never said that.
Yeah, man. I ain't gonna set the
I'm
man
making
up like
jokes.
that.
I'm just making
You ain't
jokes.
hurt my feelings. That was awesome.
Just making jokes.
Okay, what was the fucking question? Hold
If
on.
you were black, why would you want reparations? You was about to answer the question. Why would you want
Why would
reparations?
I want? Hold on,
you were
because
black.
hold on. I can formulate an argument for pro reparation. I'm very
Okay.
against it, but I can
Go
do it
ahead.
because I'm critical. I
If
can
you were
critical
black.
thinking. You need to jump off?
No,
Let me do it real quick.
No, I'm good.
So
I'm good to go.
I mean, depending on the form that reparations take. And so you can easily say that the modern situation that the Black American community is going through needs some form of injection, a massive injection of opportunity and capital. And it's, you know, it needs like a nitro booster in a race to pull it out of the kind of, I mean, and I'm trying not to sound too horrible about this, but to pull it out of the pit that it kind of is, so that it can catch up to the rest of America, supposedly.
Exactly. Who doesn't want to check? But I'm sorry. Let's say this, right? If I give $1 million to some kid, some, I don't know, even a young adult in the hood, you think that's gonna actually like be a good thing? How many times you see like even wealthy athletes, right? Athletes, they go broke. They go broke. The injection of money doesn't necessarily bring values, principles, whatever. And here's the thing, right? I'm all for it, right? The money that we sent to Israel, the money we sent to the Ukraine, I'd rather that money injected into the Black community, right? All right? Do a census, right? Everyone that has, every Black home, right? Every Black home that said, I don't know, whatever. Every Black home that was on the census. The money that we sent, I think we sent billions over, right? The Ukraine and Israel shit. Take all that money, we shouldn't have sent that. Inject it in the Black community. I wouldn't care. I mean, like, we're going to spend it anyway, right? I would love that experiment. I would love that experiment. Because in my opinion, it would fail. Right? But if it doesn't, that's great too, right? I'm not going to cry if it doesn't fail. I just think it will, but I won't cry if it doesn't fail. Okay? I'd rather, instead of sending money to Ukraine, sending money to Israel, that money should have gone to Black Americans then, right? So they can't say it, right? Send to like for every Black family, whatever, 20 grand, 20, 30, 50 grand, right? I don't know. So boom, your reparation. We're good, right? We're done, right? No more talk about reparations. No more talk about racism and shit like that, right? You can't blame the white man for your failures, could you? That's how I see it. I mean, I'd rather them had not sent money to Ukraine and Israel and shit like that. Hell, and send it to the Black community.
Yeah, I know that, but my problem with this is we are never going to get beyond this racial aspect if we don't stop looking at our problems in this way. I grew up very poor and very white. Okay, but I understand the concept of white privilege, but I cannot tell you how fucking much it pisses me off when people tell me I have white privilege. You don't know shit about me, man. I grew up in a fucking trailer that had a hole in it in the living room. My mom slept in the goddamn dining room. You know what I'm saying? And
yes, the Carnival cruise lines will support reparations. This is the thing, you know. Bentley, Lexus, BMW, LV, Gucci, you know, the jewelers, they support reparations, right? Hell, you name it. All these corporations, Apple, right? All these corporations, they definitely would support reparations, right? They would definitely support not sending money to the Ukraine or Israel and just giving it to Black Americans who are very consumer minded, right? Very materialistic. Great. That's what I'm saying. Like, to be thinking of this, right? I'm all for it. I wish we didn't send money to other nations and just inject into the Black community. They will just like, there are statistics, right? There are studies that said that a check, right, in the Black community circulates 24 hours, right? Once a Black family gets paid, that money's already spent. So let's see how it goes, right? That's what I said. I doubt it will be a good thing, but go for it, right? Go for it.
I'm not saying you lived better or worse, and I'm not saying you live better or worse. And I understand the concept that the majority of white people, rich people in America, are white. I'm just saying that in the midst of all of these conversations, a lot of the times we forget, hey man, there are a lot of fucking poor white people fought for the Union Army. You know what I'm saying? A lot of fucking poor white people were out there helping out with, overcoming Jim Crow.
I agree. Just we're done, right? You can't complain about. You can't complain about. Right, racism did this, or white supremacy is stopping you from achieving. Okay, we just gave you money. And let's see, right? You said reparation would do it, right? Well then, okay.
and everything. And when we talk about this generational racism and it gets to the point where we're saying white privilege, I can agree that there is white privilege in a certain sense, but we have to be careful about referring to people by their race in that way, because it encapsulates everybody in the race and it doesn't leave room for the minutia of I grew up in a fucking trailer.
So
you know what I'm saying?
So okay.
Did
So
that-
you grew
what
up.
are we talking about?
So you grew up.
Yeah.
You said you grew up less privileged, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of people grew up a lot
A lot
poorer
of
than me,
people,
to be
right?
clear.
So you heard the quote from LBJ, Lyndon B. Johnson. You heard what he said, right?
Oh, he said a lot of stupid shit.
He said, when they asked him about how he get his votes out and how talking to people, he said, what you do is you find the poorest white man, and I'm paraphrasing, but you can look it up, the poorest white man, and you make him think he's better than the best black man.
Yeah.
Hell, give him somebody to look down upon, and he won't notice you picking his pockets.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he'll give you his money himself.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So with that, it's sometimes it don't matter how poor you are, which I'm not saying, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In other words, what they say, you had the protection for, you had the complexion for the protection.
Yeah.
So meaning your white
Because I can
skin
still clean up
alone
and
was
go
your,
in there
was your
and be the white
privilege.
man in the boardroom.
Your white,
I
yeah,
understand that.
your
I get
skin
it.
was
Yeah.
your, yeah. So that's pretty much what they say. And I get the fact that you didn't have much. A lot of us didn't have.
No,
much.
and I didn't
And I'm
pull
not
that
saying
up.
that you
I
didn't
don't
work
like
hard.
pulling to my
And I
personal
believe you. I believe you worked hard to get to where you are. You know what I'm saying? So
I don't like pulling to my personal circumstances because I think we should be able to have conversations in the abstract outside of those realms. But I knew that we needed to. It's a very personal conversation, and I needed to bring y'all into my world how I formed.
Hey, but you know what?
kind of
Real quick, I know we gotta wrap
opinions.
up real quick.
Yeah.
But what you said when you put yourself in the scope of a black person and why you should need reparations, that was exactly it. What you said.
Well, and it's because
Even though you disagree,
it's
but that's
easy
exactly
if you grow up poor. It's easy to grow up thinking life ain't unfair and it's somebody's fault. It's somebody else's fault. That it's that bad man over there's fault, or it's that white man's fault, or it's those black people over there's fault. It's somebody else's fault that I'm growing up poor and fucking pissed off, and I can't have the things that those other people have. When in truth, it's just fucking life. Life fucking sucks for some people.
It
And
does.
I agree that it sucks more for some people than others for various reasons.
Overall, the totality is not a lot
But
of black
America
people
is about
fault. It's not a
suck
lot
it
of
the
black
fuck
people
up
fault.
and work harder than everybody else and become successful. And I'm not saying
But-
it's not harder for black men.
But
Maybe it
also,
is. But
America says
we
all
can't
these
become the
different
country
things.
that says you need more help than he does. We can't be that country because that's the death of the
But-
republic. That's the death of the meritocracy.
You have to acknowledge that black people have had, didn't have the head start that white people got. And
Let me debunk that. Black people didn't have the head start as white people do. Okay, I don't necessarily disagree. But why? This is why. As an Asian man, I debunk this shit. Right? Please tell me, why do immigrants outdo even white people? Why? Please tell me. They don't have the head start of even black people, right? These immigrants don't even have the head start as even black people. Yet they're outdoing even white people. Tell me why. You can't say, oh my God, Asian people or immigrants are coming here with high education, we're wealthy. They're not, right? No studies. There's no studies showing that majority of immigrants are wealthy, coming in here wealthy. Majority of immigrants are coming in here with high education. No, there's no study. There's no study that proves that majority of immigrants are coming into America with high education or a lot of money. No, right? There's a lot of studies that even show that it's a 50-50 balance in the sense that, you know, a good chunk are actually just poor to semi-middle class, right? They're not that wealthy. They're not that high level education. But yet they're outdoing even white people. They're outpacing even white people. So this is why I can debunk this kind of mindset. You're saying that black people didn't have the head start like white people. Okay. But the problem is not all white people even have that head start, right? The supposedly head start. Because if all white people had that head start, why do white people make up the majority of welfare programs, make the majority of the poor in America? I thought they had the head start, right? I thought they had a head start. So if white people had a head start, why are they make up most of the poor, right? If the point is the head start, why do immigrants who just come into America, right, on a lower level than even black Americans, they outpace white Americans within a generation or two? Right? Within a generation, they outpace even white families. Make it make sense. I mean, please make it make sense. You can't say, oh my God, these Asian people, these immigrants, they're coming in here wealthy. They're not. They're not. Look it up. I literally looked it up, right? They're not coming in here wealthy. Oh, these immigrants are coming in here with high education. They're not. The majority of them aren't coming into America with high education, with a high amount of money. So stop with that BS. It's mentality. It's work ethic. It's family values, right? They're coming in here with families. Mother working, father working, right? Saving, budgeting, right? Buying homes, spending money within the community, right? Like I've said this before, right? My mother got money from my aunt to start a nail salon, right? My other aunt got money from my aunt that was already here, right? My aunt that was already here, right? One generation. She just helped multiple generations. Right? My aunt, you gotta think about this. One generation, my aunt came here as an immigrant. My aunt, one generation, came here as an immigrant. No white man is helping her. She is now a millionaire. My aunt, right? And to this day, I think she's in her like 70s, she's still doing fucking feet, right? She's still doing feet. She's still doing pedicures. Insane. She's in her 70s, right? In her 70s, my aunt is still doing fucking pedicures, right? And she's a millionaire. She owns multiple houses. She's doing amazingly well. One generation. No. She doesn't have no generational wealth. She came here dirt poor. My aunt came here dirt poor, right? And like in her 70s, right? She owns multiple houses. She's a millionaire. She's still doing feet. It's like one generation, no head start, no generational wealth, and she's achieved the American dream, right? Financial freedom. Even though she's still working, which is everyone tells. I constantly tell her to stop working, but you know that's the work ethic in her. But that's the thing, that's the work ethic, and thanks to that, right? Thanks to her. No, she's Buddhist, right? Buddhist. But thanks to that, she helped out other people, right? She helped out my mom. She helped out my other aunt. She helped out my uncles, right? Her helped out other people. Same generation, right? Loan money to each of them to start their own businesses. That's what's lacking in the Black community. An actual community, right? That is what's lacking in the Black community. An actual community, right? Where you actually care about each other. Where you truly care about each other, right? You're not robbing, killing, abusing, destroying each other. That is a problem. Not racism, not the white man, not white supremacy, not the government, not the BS, not redlining, not slavery, not Jim Crow, not any of that BS. You lack a community. The Black community is just a bunch of fucking individuals. The Black community is just a bunch of fucking individuals. They hate thinking themselves as a community. They hate, oh, we're not a monolith. We're not a monolith. Well, because of that mindset, you're not a fucking community. Right? Asian people, they know their community. They know their community. And that's the craziness. Ross Shetty studies? Well, that's interesting. Let me check that out. I've never heard of that.
Still don't.
And the passed down wealth of generations.
That ain't got shit to do with me and you.
It does.
You're talking about a whole group
as a whole. And it would be fine if white people weren't walking around talking about, well, why aren't these blacks getting themselves together?
White people don't say anything.
I didn't say it was you. I'm just saying white people
as a whole don't say nothing.
Why are these black people not getting themselves together?
I'll say it. Yeah. Why aren't these black people getting themselves together? Why? Why aren't they helping out each other? Why?
You know, it's
Well,
been all
that's a good
these
que-
years.
that's actually
You
a
know
good
what?
question. Let me ask you this.
We
What
gave them,
responsibility does
we
the Black
gave all
American
these
culture
black,
have for any
we
of
gave a
this?
lot of these black people so much. We gave them all these different things.
We gave them Obama.
We gave them all this different stuff,
We gave
and
them Obama. That's what
and
Mitch
they still
McConnell
ain't got
said.
themselves together.
We gave
And
them-
it's
we gave
like,
them Obama.
well, you know, you have to look at
What's
the
your response to
context.
that? What's
You
your
have
response
to
to that?
look at the
Wait,
context.
look, we got
of
all
what
kinds of
happened.
rights. Yeah, y'all all kinds of rights. We got to put it in the Constitution. You gonna be equal?
Yeah,
You gonna be equal? You got
got-
our rights. We
we
got
got
our
all
rights in the
these different
Constitution. We always
things.
civil rights act. Yeah, that's it.
They're going crazy right now. I said this, right? My family, right, has proven it. One generation. I'll check it out. I'll definitely check them out. I've never heard of that before, but I'll check them out. But yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That was interesting. That was an interesting video. Let's does my does your aunt have does your aunt have a sister? Yes. Yeah. Yes. They do. My aunt does. All right, guys, let's do some Kendra G. Let's do some Kendra G. Yes, I Black Asian. It's simple. Asian promote education at higher levels than most groups worldwide. This is the thing where the Asian community, right? They promote education, they promote financial literacy, they promote community, they promote family, they promote marriage, right? We focus on what we know, right? That provides stability and wealth, right? It's not asking for handouts, right? Asian community don't ask for handouts. Right? They're not asking for handouts. They know what works. Family, education, right? They know what works. Asian community knows what works. No. She had I think my aunts, none of my aunts, not even my mom, right? Their level of education isn't even high school level education, right? So my aunts, even my mom, right? They didn't go past I barely a high school education level. So they weren't highly educated, right? But it's like their work ethics is very important. That's something that we're lacking, right? That's something that we're lacking. It's education. It's work ethic, right? It's family. Right? Because like seriously, my aunts, they had the siblings, they had my whatchamacallit, my cousins, they worked there. It's like it's all about family. All right, let's do a Kendra G. Let's check out this Kendra G video and let's see.
Hello? Hello?
Hi.
Hi. Are you in the car?
I am.
Why are you in the
Can you
car?
see me?
Yes.
I am just getting off of work and I logged into your app. I'm like, oh, she's on. So let me.
I'm gonna start. I be wondering why people be calling me from the car and not your house.
Yeah, I'm almost home. Almost
Oh,
home.
you're not home yet. Okay, we need the light. Bring the camera. This the best light we could get. Okay, that's better. That's great. That's great.
Download, they can find
Rain. Okay. And where are you calling us from?
The DMV area.
DMV. How old are you?
33.
33. What you do for a living?
I'm in finance. So I
Okay.
day trade, I teach finance, teach options.
Okay. Do you have any kids?
I do.
Exactly, right? Omni, exactly, right? That's what, exactly. This is the problem. I'm sorry. This is the problem with the Black community. What they don't value. They don't really value education, and they don't value family. How do you think, right? White people were getting their privilege, right? It's two-parent households, right? And work ethic. Two-parent household and work ethics. Now, I'm not saying all of them is just that, right? Some might be luck, some might be like evil shit, right? Like, I don't know, whatever, right? But the core of it is family unit and work ethics. You teach your kids well, you show them a two-parent household, you know, either the mother works or the mother is taking care of the children, taking care of the household. So the father can work, focus on jobs, focus on the work.
I have twins, a boy and a girl, 9.
Okay. You ever been married?
No,
No.
not yet, not yet.
Not yet. Okay. And what do you say work in finance? What's your zodiac sign?
I'm a Gemini.
Gemini. Your birthday in May or June?
June, I'm a June Gemini.
June, Gemini. All right, here we go. So we got Ray, DMV area, 33, is a Gemini, works in finance, mom to twins, a boy and a girl.
33 and has 2 kids. Okay. 33 and has 2 kids. Remember that.
Never married yet.
No, not yet.
Didn't even marry the father of her kids.
All right, girlfriend, what kind of man you looking for, girl?
I wouldn't say I'm necessarily looking, but I'm open to all good things, all positive things. Somebody who is emotionally available in all ways. You know, just somebody that is ready for a relationship. I don't really have time to date. You know, I'm kind of looking for something serious.
Twins, yes.
Somebody respectful, somebody that is just serious all around. So,
What are your deal breakers?
Linda McMahon is a clear example of white privilege. I can't imagine how many others are like her. Really? I don't really know her story.
deal breakers. I get really turned off by laziness.
Are you driving?
No, I'm not driving.
Okay, gotcha.
Oh, yeah.
Who's driving?
No, nobody's driving. That's probably just cars passing by.
Okay, got you. All right, I'm sorry. I got
but
nervous. All right.
laziness,
Hold on. Let's reset it because I interrupted you. Well, what are your deal breakers?
Yes, I was saying laziness, someone that's complacent. You know, I'm very driven and I get bored easily. So someone who's just complacent with life, you know, I need more. So somebody who is able to keep up with me and ready to teach me, and, you know, I'm ready to learn. I'm a learner.
I'm sorry. You're a 33-year-old woman, a mother of 2. You're not gonna learn shit. I'm sorry. The likelihood of a woman who's 33, black at that, is willing to learn from anybody is absolutely ridiculous. They're not. I'm gonna be straight up honest with you. Black women will not learn from a man. They're not submissive, right? They're not submissive. They're not. They're aggressive. They're combative. I guarantee you, when she says some of her red flags, it's her attitude. It's her mouth. It's always that. You're not gonna learn from any man. At 33, maybe at 23, maybe, but no.
So
Okay. Should he look a certain way?
I do like men that are more fit. I wouldn't say I really have a type, but I am into older men. I know that was going to be one of your next questions.
What's the older age range?
I've always dated older, significantly older, 15, 20 years older.
Well, listen, we just had a girl that was on my show the other day. She's 36. She said for something serious, 50, 60, 70, 80.
Oh, yeah, that's pushing it. I would say upper 40s, 50s, for sure.
Well, you said 20 years older. 40s because you're 33.
My last relationship, he was in his 50s, upper 50s.
So your child's father?
No. So my child's father.
Your children's father.
Yeah, my children's father. We, you know, once I had them, we kind of separated. He was in the Navy. You know, we just kind of went our separate ways. I got my children, and no drama with that. So that
doesn't sound great. So he's not even in their lives? You pick a man that you barely want? Great.
that's a blessing in itself. I have no, you know, it's all me and them.
I'm more so curious on the age difference.
Yes.
What was the age difference?
With their father, he
Yes.
was 6 years older than me.
Okay, so you like older. All right, so just older than 33.
Yes.
But you said you typically you would desire higher 40s and up.
Yes. So definitely upper 40s. I would start with. But
Well,
my
I feel
last
like-
relationship was in his 50s.
As a person that's been sitting here hosting a dating show for 6 years, I mean, the common theme for most established men is they usually date younger than their age. So you would be on
That is true.
target if you want to be
However,
serious.
it has to be for the right reasons. You know, some people date younger for control or for whatever. However, I'm a helpmeet. I like to help. I like to learn. And
Prove it. I always hear these women say that. I'm amazing. I'm the whole package. I'm a helpmate. All this stuff. Where's your proof? Why if you are still single as a single mother? Okay, if you're so amazing, why are you still single? Why? I mean, obviously, as a single mother, you've been in relationships, right? You've had men. So you're so amazing, yet you're single. It never makes sense. How are you so amazing, and yet you're so single?
for me, older men, they do it for me.
Older men do it for her. Okay. Should he make
They only do it because of the money, right? Let's be honest. Let's be honest. You go for older men because you know the balance of probability. Older men will be more established than men your age or younger.
a certain amount of money?
I don't like that question because when women answer, it sounds a little arrogant. However, I've always been, you know, my father raised me. I've always been around nicer things and being able to have access to what I like. And saying that to say, yes, I would like him to make at least over 6 figures. Have I all
Over
the men I've
6
dealt with?
figures
Yes.
is a millionaire, or do you mean over 100K?
The first.
Okay, so you want to be a millionaire?
So and like I said,
A 33-year-old single mother of two wants to date a millionaire, right? Again, balance of probability, right? Men that are 15 years older than her, okay, understandable. 100K, okay, understandable, right? Usually, as men get older, they make more money, but you want a rare man. That's what I heard. You want an extremely rare man. Extremely rare man. A man that's in his late 40s making over $1 million, right? Making over $1 million. And willing to support a single mother of two. These women are delusional. They're absolutely ridiculous. They are. And the problem is, right? I doubt it, right? I doubt it that she's dated men that make millions. And if she did, right? Maybe her last 50-year-old boyfriend made $1 million. Okay. Where is he now? Why one, I don't think they date these men. Two, if they do date these men, why aren't they around anymore? Right? So if you meet these men that meet your qualifications, yet you're not with them anymore, how does that make sense? So so even getting the men that you want, it doesn't work out. Yeah, the logic isn't there.
you asked that question, well, have you dealt with that? Yes. You know, and that's and like he doesn't have to. Let me backtrack that because again, that sounds very wild. However, that is what I'm used to. That's what I like. And I'm a money maker as well. So I want to do it together. It's not about what you make, but like I said, don't be complacent. If you don't make that, let's get it together. So that's where I am with it.
So the goal, if you're not at $1 million, what's the plan to get to $1 million?
Oh, we have plans. I told you I day trade. So the money.
No,
here.
I was.
Day trader. Day trader? Are you fucking kidding me? Now, I'm not saying it's not impossible to make a whole lot of shitload of money day trading. But let's be honest. Are you kidding me? It's like you're gambling. You're literally gambling when you're day trading, right? It's absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
I was saying for the guy, but okay, but you got plans.
The guy, in a sense where, let's start a business. Let's do something that you like, something that you enjoy. Let's turn that into something that can be lucrative for the both of us. If you aren't there, let's get there. So
you said that you dealt with that. Was you in a relationship or was it a situationship?
No, long-term relationship.
Was it your children's dad?
No.
So what caused it to end, the relationship with the millionaire?
I think it was the control part of it. It was.
So you think that this is the absolute stupidity. So you think a man that's providing, that's making that shitload of money, he's not going to be controlling to you now? Now you think you again, it's the attitude, it's the mindset. This is the problem. You're a helpmate and you can't handle being controlled. Ain't that stupid, right? I thought you're submissive, right? Aren't you? You're not submissive, right? So you want a rare man, a high value man, and you're not even submissive. Absolute ridiculousness of women. Absolute ridiculous. I swear to God. It's just the absolute insanity of so many women.
It was the money that came with the control. Like I said, being with someone that has that high, men say it all the time, high value men. I'm a high value man, and they have the money, and it comes with the control, me being younger, etc. And I think I'm a little bit more mature for my age, and that was a little bit much for him to handle after a certain point. I think we outgrew each other. So that's what it was.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, I think there's so much conversation. What the internet does is allows everybody to have a voice in this conversation. And, listen, at this moment in time, child, I'm not even going, well, I will say a couple things. So when did you say it was a long-term relationship? So it was after your kids?
Yes.
After your kids. Okay. So, and y'all were together for 4 years?
The last relationship, my child's father.
No, you told me that you were in a long-term relationship with the guy that made $1 million.
Yes, my last relationship.
Right, and you said it was 4 years. When did it end?
I'd say like last September.
So this is like a recent thing.
I wouldn't say recent, almost a year ago, but this was my last relationship.
Fair enough. But it's not okay. When I meant recent, sometimes when women tell me it's like 3, 4, 5 years ago.
No, this was the last person that I was intimate with, the last person I was dealing with. Yes.
Got you. Okay. Well, what I was gonna say is, I think what's lost out of the conversation online about getting a man inside of a certain tax bracket is all the other things that come along with the money. So I as a person, I feel like a lot of women who just are always preaching out. I'm like, sometimes I feel like you could have never dated, because if you had it, then you would know there's a lot that comes with that. And listen, I'm on record. I ain't about that life. I ain't about that life. But there's some women, they about that life. And shout out to them. They're like, I'm about that life. So it is, not for nothing. You really gotta have it. This is gonna sound crazy, but it's the truth. You gotta have like an idea, a mindset like a Young Miami. Because I don't like high value, but I will say high demand, right? So whenever you're dating a high demand man, you're always talking about
what the fuck is different, right? You just want to. It's Kendra doesn't want to take Kevin Samuels lingo.
the man cheating. First of all, could we please add it to the equation? Are the women that are gonna try to be with your man too? Like, it's not just him seeking women. Women don't give a shit about you. They gonna want your spots. And are you about that life? Are you about that life? Are you about the life where all the conversation, and then are you about the life that things you might have to deal with that he comes along with? Maybe, let's just say he's faithful, but lack of time. What if he has children? There's just a lot of things that I think that people leave out when you want to, especially if you're talking about a millionaire man. But it seems like you are about that life, huh, Rain?
No, she's not about that life. She left it. She said literally he's controlling. So she tried it, right? So she tried that life, but she couldn't stand it. So no, she's not about that life.
I said I'm about that life.
Yes. I totally agree everything that you said, but I feel the same way. Women scream that they want a man to make a certain amount, etc. But like you said, can you handle it? And like we have these conversations all the time. A high value man, would he want a woman that wears her makeup a certain way, she dresses a certain way? That's where the controlling part comes in.
Okay, let me say this for my show, and I respect high value is the terminology, and I know what you're talking about. But I don't like the word high value, because it's equating that this person is essentially what it says, high value, because he has money.
He's valuable, right? Women value it. Shut the fuck up, right, Kendra? You don't like it because Kevin Samuels coined that phrase, okay? So you want to change it, but it does. You changing the words. What does it? It doesn't mean anything different, really, right? High demand, okay, great. High value, seriously, stop. It's like she's trying to like not steer herself away from Kevin Samuels. But let's be honest, it's definitely 1% high. 100% high value. Women value these men. They're high value, high demand. Okay, what the fuck ever. It's
just not true.
No. And when I say high value,
hold on. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, what I think is a better explanation for what we're talking about is high demand. Now, he is a man in high demand, as in desired by a lot of women. The reason why this is important, when you're in high demand, you know you have a lot of options. So when you are pretty much with a woman,
So if you're a high value man, you don't have a lot of options. It's like your logic is stupid. Just be honest.
sometimes the high demand man feels like you're lucky because I could be, Keisha want me too, but I'm here with you. So what you complaining about? Because what I'm giving you, Keisha want, but I'm giving it to you. So it's hard at times, unless a high demand man really wants to be in the same dating capacity as you can't make him. He just has too many options.
That is very true. Yes.
So I want to ask you a couple things though. So you know what comes along with a millionaire man, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm just curious, is monogamy important to you?
For sure. However, I have grown that mindset where a man is going to be, a person is going to be a person regardless, but a high demand that comes along with, you know, a man being a man. He may, this is what I always say. Men look at it like a soda. You see a grape soda in the store, you drink it, you're done with it. You don't think about that grape soda 3 hours later. It's done, you know. But you have some women who can't handle that. I've dealt with that, unfortunately. And, you know, I've gotten through that. And that's just me. I'm not saying that women should go through it. I'm not saying it's right. But that does come with it, for sure. So.
Okay. All right. So you ready for that lifestyle? She been there, done that, going back.
How could she be ready for that lifestyle when she literally said because of that lifestyle, because of that type of man of that lifestyle, she broke up? Do Kendra know how to listen or what?
So now,
And look at her reaction, right? She may say it, but how she's reacting, she's not gonna be able to handle a man. She just compared a woman to a grape soda. She just compared a woman to a grape soda. Yes, she did. She's not gonna be able to handle it. This is why, you know, women live in delusion. Women love dishonesty, right? Women love dishonesty because they're dishonest. You're not gonna be able to handle it. I think very few women, in my honest opinion, very few women can truly handle it.
the guy, I mean, usually, you know, if a guy, usually it's a 100K conversation. So if a guy made 100K, is that just too low?
No, not at all. Like, I just think that you can't put yourself in a box. You know, are you open to, you know, starting
Yeah, they will compromise ethics for lifestyles.
a business? Do you have that mindset? Are you into real estate? Are you open to trading? I know a lot of men, they sometimes have their career or their job that they're with, and that's enough for them. And I'm just not one of those people. I always want more. So.
Okay. And then I guess so would you date a man that made less than 100K?
Honestly, no.
Okay. Okay.
I'm sorry. Never date a woman that constantly wants more. You date a woman that wants more, she's gonna want more from you, right? And if you can't provide more, she's gonna leave you.
We got a ballpark.
It's more reasons to that than just the money part of it. But you know, it's more that comes with it. It's like, you know, like education, that's important to me.
Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, like, what? Education does not necessarily make you smart. It's a piece of paper, right? That possibly can provide you a job.
Said, are you able to build? If you have under a certain amount of money, and you know, in this economy, are you able to set aside money to start another business? You know, you have to have a starting point to get somewhere else. And you know, if you're only working with the salary that you have, and you know, the bills that you're paying, you may be doing here and there, but you don't really have the means to get further with, you know, that's where I say you can't be complacent with me. So as long as you want more.
They said, much what you talking about, it's time for the Kendra cam. They got to see this body child. They said, Kendra cam.
How can I do the Kendra cam? I'm in the car.
Okay, turn on your headlights on your car and then stand in front of your car. Because you know you got to do the Kendra cam, girl.
Hold on, I know, isn't that funny?
And the face is fucking average as shit. Her face is like a borderline 4 to a 5. I'm sorry, right? I mean, I get it, right? If she's dating a 50-year-old man, okay, I get it. But it's like, I don't understand. If a millionaire, a 50-year-old millionaire, why is he not dating a, let's say, hypothetically, a 23-year-old? Or, you know, a 33-year-old that looks prettier, has no kids. It's like...
Yeah, they like, we got
to see what isn't that crazy?
So turn your headlights on in your car so they can see. Can y'all see?
Let me see.
I can't really see. Are your headlights on in front of your car?
Kendra. Let me see. I'm literally in the middle of the street. It's raining. You got me looking crazy.
You got yourself looking crazy. You call me.
I know. I told you I just left work.
Okay, looks like, go to your body again. Looks like you have a nice shape. It's hard to tell though.
Oh yeah. Oh, the body's here, Kendra. Body's
Why
here.
did you
Real
put
hair.
on the hell? I told
This
you
is
what
my
to do.
real
Turn the head.
hair. I'm
Listen,
sorry.
you know,
Let me
listen.
put my
What you,
headband on.
okay, hold on. I said turn the headlights on in your car. Did you say your hair's real?
Oh yeah, this is all my hair. No extensions. Nothing. It's raining, so
She's like,
yeah.
the real hair girl's gonna let you
Eh,
know, child.
But
face is
It's a
average,
certain
body
real
is
hair girls
body's
have.
probably 5
Real
to
hair
6.
girls are light
yes,
but
they told me
some of
I'm
the
white
real hair
Okay.
now.
girls, they gonna be like, oh, this is my real hair. No makeup. You know,
No,
makeup
no
on.
makeup. No,
You know, her letting her hair down does make her look better, right? Her letting her hair down makes her look better.
no makeup. You can see that. No makeup.
Listen, I already know how it go. I've been sitting in this seat for 6 years. And the real hair girls, don't let them be light skinned too, child. That's why she said $1 million at the door.
You're silly.
All right, okay. So your last relationship, we kind of got there earlier, with the guy. Now that was your ex from September, right?
Yes.
Okay, you don't have to answer, but I'm gonna ask. When's the last time you was intimate with someone?
With him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Three flaws you have to work on.
I would say my mouth.
Oh, fucking shit! Did I not say that? Did I not fucking say that? Did I not say that? Did I not say that? I just fucking said that. She wants to be a helpmate? She, like this. Did I not fucking say that? Her mouth. Her mouth is the red flag. My brothers, you can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. It is predictable, right? It is predictable. Her mouth is the problem. And you think you can get with a millionaire with a mouth, right? With the attitude? I said it. These women at 33, a single mother, they can't be controlled, right? They can't be submissive. They're not going to follow any man. They're not going to follow nobody. I'm sorry, particularly these black women. I'm sorry. Feminism has ruined black women, literally ruined them, right? Feminism has destroyed black women. Chastity for women is a ball gag. I was just like, I just fucking knew it. I knew her red flag would have been her mouth. Why would a millionaire deal seriously with a woman with an attitude? You can't make this shit up.
And I say that I don't have a problem with my mouth. However, I do want to get married. And I think that as a woman, I need to understand that if I do want to be married, I have to understand it. Shut up sometimes. So that's one
Doesn't shut up.
of the things. I would say comparison. I compare myself sometimes when I shouldn't. And we all do that. But I find myself comparing things that I shouldn't, or things that I see. And that's something that I need to work on, I would say. And I say another flaw, maybe just slowing down a little bit. Like I said, I'm always like on the go. So maybe if I have that person to come into my life, slow me down, we can get on the same page and then start building from there. So yeah, that's
Okay.
Do not build with someone with a mouth, with attitude. You can't build with, because you can't be a helpmate. You're not going to follow any man. I said this before. As women age, to become bigger red flags. Why? Because of their mouth, because of their attitude, right? Women are more set in their ways. Like, who are you? Who are you to tell me what to do? Who are you to think you could lead me? Right? Who are you? Women like this will not obey. Women like this cannot be submissive, right? You can't even handle average men. You think you want to handle above average men? You are ridiculous.
Okay. And why would a guy be lucky to be with you?
Oh, I'm the whole package, and everybody says that, but I'm a blessing for sure. And
Such a blessing. You're single. Such a blessing at 33, single mom of 2. You're single. Stop it with that BS. Stop it. It's like, it's always funny that it's the greatest women. It's the women with the whole package that are so single.
Whoever's life that I come into, trust me, it's up from here.
It's up from here.
Yes.
Are you inside the Kendra G singles dating
Ah,
app?
these women, my brothers, learn. This is why we do these. This is why we're in this space. I was debating with a follower, right? Or with with Alan. Some of you guys may know him, right? He's saying, red pill is terrible. Red pill is this, red pill. No, red pill is this right here, right? It's to know women. It's predictor. So you don't have to deal with their BS. You know, this is the thing where I said it, right? If you're dating women in her 30s, it's the mouth, right? If you're dating women in her 40s, it's the mouth, right? It's the attitude. It's the, women like this, they want men that are already built. She doesn't want to build with a man. That's why she's saying she wants a man that's in her, she wants a man that's is in his late 40s. She wants a man that's already built. It's predictors, right? It's understanding these women. Understanding these women is so important. So you don't deal with these red flags. You don't deal with these women. I'm sorry. Leave these women to the pookies. Leave these women to the pookies. Focus on yourself. Make your money. Focus on your mentality, your body, your education. Focus on yourself. Get a passport. My brothers, get a passport, right? I'm saying it simple, right? I don't give a shit how old you are. I don't give a shit. If you're single, focus on your money, your body, your mentality. Get a passport. Stop dealing with these attitude, aggressive, lying ass, used up for the streets women. Stop, right? She's not bad looking. I'm not saying she's bad looking. At the end of the day, most women are good looking, right? Most women are decent looking. The problem is their personality. The problem is their attitude. What we men want peace. Women like this won't bring you peace. Whole package, fuck that shit. Guys, later, what do you guys think? Guys, thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for being here. I love you guys, right? Evil Eddie. Yeah, they turn ugly real quick. This is the thing. It's the mouth. It's the attitude. I'm telling you, the worst thing about women today is that they don't bring you peace. Omni Man or Omni, thank you. The Freak, thank you for being here, guys. Laughing Man. Black, what is up? Thank you for being here. What is it? Whiskey, thank you for being here. I love you. All right, thank you guys. Red Door, thank you, my sister, for being here. I know Self-Made Black, thank you for being here. You guys are amazing. Any more shout out? Big Bars, thank you for being here, my brother. Yeah, that is it for tonight. I love you guys. You guys are amazing. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the support. You guys are amazing. Please subscribe. If you guys haven't. Please check out my other videos if you could, right? You guys are amazing. Thank you guys. Thank you for some new people in the chat, right? You guys are amazing, right? I love you guys. You guys are my brothers, my sisters. You guys are family, right? I love you. But yes, any support. If you guys want to support me, please support me. But if you don't want, you don't need to. You can always just check out my other videos, like my other videos. All right, I love you guys. Making music, okay. Self-made. Check out Evil Eddie. A great music. Check out his channel. Right, he makes music too. Maybe you guys collab. All right, share on Discord too. Right. This is Evil Eddie's music. Right? If you shout out some music, I'll definitely share it out on the channel. Right? Music by Evil Eddie. Oh, that's awesome. Yo, bro, Thank you for spreading it out. Thank you for spreading, thank you for, thank you for spreading the message. The merch. Guys, maybe down in the future, maybe down, later on. Love you guys.
Let me find out that dying.
Love you guys.